Related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Welcoming you back to appointment day at the Martinez house. Raul Martinez looking stressed about scheduling a colon cancer screening, but he just pledged to get screened.
Stand Up to Cancer and Optum want to help you reduce your risk for cancer. Visit takeahealthystand.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Sanders and Coker to the left, Thielen and T-Mac to the right. Chuba Hubbard back on as the running back to the left side out of the shotgun for Young from the 5. Sets up in the pocket, looking middle. Pocket breaks down, he rolls out to the right side. At the 15, directing traffic at the 10. Throws back in the end zone, Jalen Coker's got it! Coker for the touchdown, and the Panthers score first.
To be able to move the ball down there, come away with a touchdown, I thought was awesome. I was really happy with the operation on the offensive side. Defensively, the communication was really good as well. So I was really pleased with their work.
The words of Dave Canales. That's from after Friday's preseason game against the Cleveland Browns, which, by the way, we're going to dive plenty into. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vodenecker producing the show. And the games that don't matter, they're 0-1. Panthers are. By the way, the AP Top 25 Coaches Poll, College Football Poll, the AP Top 25 literally just dropped. I haven't seen it yet. I know it's set to come out at noon today. But nonetheless, here we are. Preseason game number 1, Victoria. Yep. Let's get this sucker started.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Your final score.
Let's get it started.
Cleveland 30, Carolina 10.
Shedeur Sanders on to the Super Bowl.
I will get into that in a little bit.
So
here's the thing. I don't care what the final score was because it doesn't matter.
Nobody should.
It doesn't matter. Need I remind people? In 2008, the Detroit Lions went 4-0 in the preseason. And in the regular season, they went 0-16. The results of the preseason don't matter. And I've seen plenty of fan reaction. I can't believe we got blown. I host a podcast called Panthers Playbook, along with my co-host Chris Lee of WRAL in Raleigh. Some people might remember him from his time at WXII out in Greensboro. But when we do a show immediately post game, and we did one on Friday night, and it was interesting seeing fans being like, "I can't believe we lost to Cleveland." I was like, "It's a preseason game." Need I remind people as well that when the Panthers starters were out there in the field, it was 7-0. Now, granted, Cleveland was playing their backups mostly. I don't think really any starters played in the game. Okay, and the Panthers were up 7-0 with their starters after 2 drives each. So, again, what are we complaining about here? But something that we should definitely take away, for sure. Now, we're going to call it Overreaction Monday, Victoria. Why not? We have one preseason game. Let's overreact. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind as well is that J.C. Horn did not play because, remember, he had that car accident right before joint practices on Wednesday last week, had stitches in his thumb, did not play on Friday either. Actually did not practice today as well. I guess, probably, if you're getting stitches, it's probably a deep laceration is my guess. And also no Derek Brown in the scrimmage as well, or scrimmage, the preseason game. Might as well be a scrimmage. But no Derek Brown in that game either for the starting defense. Derek Brown was practicing today. It was just kind of, we're got to make sure we get this guy's body right going in to the season. So I'm 100% okay with that. And Dave Canales did say post-game as well that there were some bumps and bruises, but normal bumps and bruises for guys during the course of the game. Nothing injury-wise during the game that would be of any concern. Now, Damian Lewis, the offensive lineman, did suffer a shoulder injury in the joint practice and did not play on Friday either. The joint practice was on Wednesday last week with the Browns. He is week to week with that strained shoulder, to be determined if he's ready to go week 1. But let's get into the fun stuff, Victoria, and the people who actually did play. Let's go about Bryce Young, the third-year quarterback. Overall, Victoria, I thought he was accurate. He was on time. He looked so much more comfortable than he did at the start of last season.
Yeah.
And really, the only throw that really wasn't great was that first pass to Chuba Hubbard that was thrown a bit behind him on an underneath route. It was kind of thrown like on his back shoulder, back hip area. Now, catchable ball, you want to see Chuba come up with that, but that's the only one I felt that was really quote-unquote off target. But he showed the mobility, the anticipation. It was what you wanted to see. Now here's Dave Canales, just on the offense as a whole.
Yeah, I thought it was good to just kind of see, some of the matchups that we took advantage of. And, some guys made plays down the field. T-Mac made a nice play down the field. Jalen Coker comes in, when Xavier goes out and did a fantastic job. Like we didn't skip a beat, made some great plays that way too. So I saw some good rhythm. And I think, the first drive, wasn't what we wanted, but it was good to just get the group out there, just working together, getting into the flow of the game, getting some good runs. Loved how hard Chuba ran, Rico ran, there was a good enough work there, and thinking about maybe getting him another series as we go into Houston, to just kind of feel the flow of the game and have to be out there, kind of work through things on the sideline.
So the starters played about 13 snaps on offense. Same thing in defense, about 12 snaps. Now, what you alluded to there at the end was saying maybe in Houston getting them another drive, which he was asked about a little bit later on. He says, kind of depending on how the joint practice in Houston goes on Thursday next week, that we might see the starters play even a little bit further into game number 2 of the preseason in Houston next week, which is on Saturday at 1 o'clock. I'm okay with them getting more reps. They need more reps together. But he brought up the Jalen Coker touchdown, who, again, came in for Xavier Legette after Xavier Legette got into the fisticuffs. Victoria, I'd scored that 10-9 Xavier Legette. I think I would score that one. I would... And now Jalen Coker came in, and they didn't miss a beat. I love the touchdown pass to Jalen Coker in the red zone. Bought some time with his legs, did Bryce Young. He saw the field, directed traffic with Coker. I even asked Coker about it after the game. And in the locker room, I said, did he just, how did you know where to break to? He says, locked eye contact, just the chemistry. He kind of pointed me where he wanted to go. And he knew where Bryce Young was going to go with the football as soon as he made his cutback. And he did a great job, obviously. We're going to get more to Jalen Coker here in a bit. But I loved that play from Bryce Young. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing about that play is it never should have happened. Because let's get to the next thing here, Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
The previous play should have been a touchdown catch by Tetairoa McMillan. Tetairoa McMillan had an up-and-down day on Friday. Showed the flashes of what we wanted to see in number 1 wide receiver. 100% saw the flashes that we wanted to see. And Dave Canales, I asked him post-game in the presser, what was his assessment of Tetairoa McMillan's performance?
I thought it was really good. I thought he gave himself some good opportunities to win. I thought there was a ball got on him pretty quickly down there. Could have been the first touchdown. He got hung up a little, and that's red zone football in the NFL. It happens quickly. The window's closed, and the quarterbacks are going to put their back foot in the ground. Bryce delivered a great throw right there, and I think that's one that he'll be able to grow from. We had another opportunity on a slant and go where he and Andy just kind of didn't connect on it, but I thought he won. I thought he got on an edge, and I thought the throw was just a little bit high, but I like the speed of play. I love that he was able to give us an option there.
The second drive of the game, very first play, we see that go route down the sideline to Tetairoa McMillan. And beautifully placed ball by Bryce Young. You're like, oh yeah, a guy that can stretch the field. A guy that can get open down the field. Or at least Bryce Young has faith to get him the ball down the sideline. That's what we wanted to see. Loved that. And everyone's like, there it is. When's the last time we had that? It's been a minute. Been a minute. Then even later on in the drive, slant route, 13-yard pickup where the corner was backed off, secured the catch, was trying to maybe, after he got the ball, was trying to see if he can fight loose. Nothing was there. held on to the football. I liked also seeing on early downs, that was a second down play, that Carolina throwing the ball and even not afraid to push the ball intermediate range downfield on the second down. But again, the bad came was later in that drive was the touchdown or the drop touchdown catch. He was on the left side of the formation, runs like a quick slant, puts a double move real quick on his defender. Wide open. Ball comes out quickly. The speed of the NFL game, it's just faster. And that's what he's going to have to expect in games quickly. You heard Dave Canales say he's got to learn that as soon as the back foot hits the ground on the drop of the quarterback, the ball's coming out and it's coming in hot. The windows are tighter in the NFL. The game is just faster. You have to be ready, especially in the red zone. It was a perfectly thrown ball by Bryce Young. Literally hit Tyrell McMillan in the hands at waist height. The move was good by T-Mac to get open. Everything about the process of the play was great, with the exception of the actual execution of the catch. Everything else about the play was great. And Tyrell McMillan was asked post-game about that, including a follow-up question about the play as well. You can listen to that right here.
Nah, you can't. You know, at the end of the day, we got to, if the ball comes our way, we got to make a play. And if it don't happen, then shoot, get the next one.
T-Mac, that looked like more of a timing thing than what you would call a drop. Was it the thing about getting your head around a little quicker? Or?
Yeah, I just got to get my head around quicker. Like I said, that was a perfect ball from Bryce, and, I'll finish those next time.
Yeah, timing thing, but it was a drop. It was a drop. He has to anticipate that ball being there as soon as he turns his head. The ball's going to be right on top of him.
It's fine. Work those kinks out now.
And I'll reiterate this again. This is why you have preseason games. Make some mistakes. Learn from the mistakes. Grow from the mistakes. And hopefully Tyrell McMillan will do that. And Bryce Young was asked post-game about his thoughts on Tyrell McMillan, not just his performance, but also how he's been developing overall during training camp.
We've been on it. He's done a great job throughout, from when he got here after draft day to all the way through the offseason, through training camp, of just making a concerted effort of making sure that we're communicating, we're on the same page. And really it's been all the receivers. They do a great job of not just running their route and then going back and putting their head down. And they want to know the why, know the how, know if there's something they can improve. And I'm the same way. As a QB room, I take pride in it. We all take pride in it, making sure we're communicating. Hey, is this what you want? This is what I want? Whatever it may be, making sure we're on the same page. So seeing that from him and the whole receiving core, it's great to see.
Receiving core definitely showed some flashes. Again, the Tyrell McMillan had the flash of the moments. Okay, you got the dropsies out. You got it out of the way. Now learn from it and grow. But obviously there's the other side of the ball, Victoria, as we get on to the next thing. We're going to be very Panthers heavy today, and obviously so. I mean, they actually played a game.
I'm here for it.
Switching sides to the defensive side of the football. I know a lot of people are making a fuss about Shedeur Sanders' preseason debut. Like, he was 14-23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. Let's keep this in mind. Against the Panthers starters, he was 3 of 7 for 30 yards. 3 of 7 for 30 yards against the Panthers starters. And then even in the next drive, when the Panthers sent their second unit out there, he completed a couple passes, had an incompletion, and there was a punt. Now, granted, the punt was muffed because Nick Scott ran into his own return guy and ETN, and the ball fumbled, and Cleveland jumped on the ball, and they were able to score right there because they got the ball inside the red zone. But let's not overreact to Shedeur Sanders' full day and make that an indictment of the Panthers' starting defense. Now, let's keep this in mind as well. The Panthers' starting defense last year was abysmal. It was bad, historically bad. And I think a lot of Panthers fans and what people that follow the team and cover the team are just hoping for from the Panthers' defense this season. Just get to average. If you just get to average and you anticipate this offense growing, guess what? You're going to be in a lot of games. Dave Canales was asked post-game what his thoughts were on the first-team defense as a whole.
I just saw some good physical play. I think they'd come up here and tell you they'd like to give up less on a couple of those runs. When we're sitting at 2nd and 6, on a 4-yard run, that's really not our standard and not what they want to do. But I love seeing the communication happen. I love seeing Corey Thornton show up like he's been, and these games, while every practice is so important and Fan Fest was a great opportunity to kind of play at this time under the lights and the joint practice. Once you get into a game, there are guys. I think it's probably one of my favorite things about being in the NFL is there are guys who may not show up in practice, but all of a sudden make plays in games. And there are guys that are making plays in practice and they kind of disappear. And to kind of get that part to reveal itself, we got a bunch of plays. We got a lot of information now coming out of this game. So, and it was good to just kind of see that first group get out there and play with each other really, for the first time in a game.
A lot of new pieces on that defense. Now, a couple of names that really stuck out to me among the starters on defense. First of all, on that very first drive, yes, the Cleveland with Dylan Sampson, who was the SEC Player of the Year this past season at Tennessee, got a good run. Got about 5-6 yard run in that very first play. Then the second play, Corey Thornton right there in coverage on a pass by Sanders, goes incomplete. And then on a short pass, Christian Roseboom, who just came in from the LA Rams as a free agent as an inside linebacker, makes a secure tackle. Guess what? Forces fourth down. Cleveland punts. Okay, your starting defense was 3 and out on the first drive. But something that I saw from the first unit on that second drive was that they got pressure in the backfield. Turk Wharton on a stunt on a third down got into the backfield. Now he missed Sanders, who was able to scramble for a first down. Yes, you want to see Turk Wharton get the sack. I'm not saying that he shouldn't. But I like the fact that he was in the backfield. Keep in mind, all summer and in training camp, you can't touch the quarterback. So you really don't have those live reps against a moving quarterback who's going to scramble. You just don't have that in practice. But nonetheless, you want to see Turk Wharton get the sack. But I like the fact that he was in the backfield getting pressure. 2nd and 12 on the same drive. A'Shawn Robinson gets pressure on Sanders, who had a roll to his left and overthrew a pass. He made contact with Sanders on that play. Again, pressure. Those two guys from interior defensive linemen. Next play, man coverage. Shaw Smith-Wade makes a secure tackle to force a fourth down. Now, Cleveland decides to go for it. DJ Wanham gets the pressure. Sanders is back retreating. Shaw Smith-Wade was actually there as well when Sanders tried to pirouette out to his left. He's like, oh, crap, I can't go that way because there's another defender right there. Has to throw the ball away. You got pressure, you got pressure, you got pressure. I like the fact that there was pressure on the QB. But now it's about finishing, which is something you hope comes as training camp progresses, as the more reps come live, the more preseason games, and as you get to week 1. The fact that you're getting in the backfield is a good thing. Again, grain of salt, Cleveland was playing with their second string guys. I understand that. So then I say, well, yes, you would hope that your starters would get pressure in the backfield, and they did. Even saw Shaw Smith-Wade shed a tackle and help make a tackle at the line of scrimmage with Trevin Wallace. Corey Thornton, a guy, we're going to talk about Corey Thornton here in just a little bit. But Corey Thornton, as an undrafted rookie, not afraid to step up, pass break up, not afraid to step up in the run game and make a couple of tackles, including one on an end around where he shed a blocker and gave an Arn Anderson spine buster to one of the Cleveland Browns players on an end around. You love seeing those types of things. Overall, again, from the starting unit, I thought it was good. The fact that there was pressure was good. Was it great? No, far from it. Because we got to remember where this defense was coming from. This defense was the worst in the NFL last year by a country mile.
Big time.
And we want to see them. Not only do you have to make up that country mile, you still got ways to go just to get to average. And that's what we want to see. Again, no Derek Brown, no J.C. Horn, but injuries are going to happen during the course of the season. Now, the questions about the depth on defense, valid. 100% valid. But at least from what we saw from the starting unit, it was fine. I'm not going to sit here and say it was amazing. Not going to sit here and say it was great. But as much praise as Shedeur Sanders has been getting about Friday's game, let's not forget, he was 3 of 7 for 30 yards. 3 of 7 for 30 yards and got pressured multiple times in the 2 series he faced the Panthers starting defense.
Yeah.
Those are just simply the facts.
He had the game of his life.
Congrats. Maybe they'll retire his jersey.
Might.
Now, let me get to a couple players who shined. Players that are already been mentioned. Corey Thornton, get to him in a sec, but also Jalen Coker. If there's one word I need to use to describe Jalen Coker, it's reliable. That's the best word I can use to describe him as a player. Just reliable. He took advantage of the opportunity when Xavier Legette got ejected from the game, and sure enough, he's the one making the touchdown catch just a few plays later. He was open. He was actually open in the back corner of the end zone to the right. Bryce Young had to roll out to his right because there was a little bit of pressure towards him. The chemistry was shown there about those two, and as Bryce redirected him, and it was awesome to see. Also, as well, when Andy Dalton came in, by the way, Tedero McMillan, Jalen Coker, and some of these other guys stayed in the game, even though after Bryce Young had left. Again, getting more reps for these young players. And he makes a phenomenal one-handed catch on a go route down the seam. It was like a 32-yard completion. It stinks it got called back due to a penalty, but we all saw the play. Also made another really good catch. He ran an out route to the right sideline. And when we talked about earlier about Tedero McMillan, about getting his head around and anticipating the ball being there. Sure enough, he's not even in his break yet, Jalen Coker is, and the ball's already coming out from Andy Dalton. And he turns his head, ball's right there, secures the catch right there on the sideline. He's simply reliable. And by the way, if there was any doubt about what Jalen Coker can provide for this team, and if is he going to not make the team because Hunter Renfro's here? Those doubts should be erased. Plain and simple. Those doubts should be erased. This guy needs to be a factor not only this season, but for years to come for the Panthers. Plain and simple. Plain and simple about Jalen Coker. Simply reliable. Dave Canales was actually asked post-game about how Jalen Coker really improved himself physically this offseason.
It was a collective effort. It was a collective effort to help Jalen take the next steps in his career. Coming off a rookie season and having a plan for your offseason. It was Josh Hinks, it was Denny Kellington, it was myself. It was really a collective group to all sit down and put our heads together and say, okay, we have a plan for you from now until training camp. And I promise you, if you stick to this plan, you'll see good results. Now let's give Jalen the credit. You go away for 5 weeks, and he trained, and he worked himself into great shape, and he made some great plays on offense tonight. I can't wait to watch his special teams reel because he was on a couple of the teams and was available most of the night to help out that way too. And so I'm really proud of him. I'm proud of his response. And, when I see a guy smiling, and I know he's confident, he knows what he's doing and feels great. So I'm really happy that Jalen came and showed up tonight.
Played a lot of snaps, played 29 snaps, the most of any receiver, along with Tedero McMillan. Also, 5 snaps on special teams as well. Jalen Coker really did put in the work this offseason. You can actually, just seeing him even back in minicamp and in training camp, I was like, he slimmed down. Like, he shed some weight. He even acknowledged it at postgame as well, that he shed some weight, really got himself into good physical conditioning, figured out some problems with some soft tissue stuff, and it's showing. He looks a step quicker as well. And again, the hands are just reliable. The route running, it's all there. Again, any doubt that any had about Jalen Coker, get it out of your mind.
Shouldn't be there.
And Jalen Coker also even talked about what's the difference between this year versus last year.
Yeah, I think just confidence-wise, going out there, being comfortable with the offense, I feel like I have more of I know what's expected of me, more of a direction, more of a path. So I think that's let me be able to play more free and more relaxed.
Now, on the other side of the ball, now remember, Jalen Coker was an undrafted free agent last year out of Holy Cross. Now, there's another undrafted free agent who's a rookie this year. On defense, the corner out of Louisville, Corey Thornton. Corey Thornton's making this team. No two ways about it. Now, barring injuries or the wheels completely falling off, he's making the team. And he had a pretty darn good first impression. I actually asked Corey Thornton in the locker room postgame about earning the trust. Hey, no J.C. Horn today. Hey, Corey, we want you to go run out there with the starters. I asked Corey Thornton about that. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. My teammates trusting in me to be able to go ahead and be with them and do my job. So by them trusting in me, I just got to keep on going. I know what the standard is, set the standard in practice. So just hold me to it, hold them to it, just keep on going and do my job.
He showed pretty well in pass coverage, including a couple times against former Carolina Panther wide receiver Deontay Johnson, which I think is a good look, by the way, because Deontay Johnson has been a starting wide receiver in this league. So he's not going up against someone that's not going to make a roster. I mean, Deontay Johnson is a good receiver. Now, Deontay Johnson's got other stuff going on, but he is a good receiver nonetheless. He also wasn't afraid to step up in the run game. A couple times that he actually made tackles at the line of scrimmage or even for a tackle for a loss. He wasn't afraid to come up and run defense either. He's got a pretty big frame, actually. He's 6'1", about 195, 200. So he's got great physical size, and it feels like Dan Morgan and the crew found another good one as an undrafted free agent. And even Dave Canales gave a lot of praise post-game to Corey Thornton as well.
He puts himself in good position, whether it's a tackle or whether it's making a play on the ball. Cooley's doing a great job, teaching him technique, footwork, and all that. He's taking the coaching. He's a natural football player, and then he shows up physical in those moments, and so that was really exciting to see.
Corey Thornton, the fact that he got tabbed to be the starter over a guy like Shamar Bartholomew, who was with the team last season, shows how highly this coaching staff thinks of him, especially when we played earlier the clip about Dave Canales talking about the defense as a whole. He mentioned Corey Thornton's name unprovoked, unsolicited, and that's happened more than once this offseason. So yeah, Corey Thornton's making this team. 100%. 100%. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vonecker producing the show today. Don't worry, we're going to get into plenty of Carolina Panther talk for sure. But something that just dropped at the top of the hour, right at noon, the AP Top 25 Coaches Poll.
Uh-oh.
I'll tell you which team is overrated next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the preseason, so me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, are back in the trenches with our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp rolls forward. Insight on the rookies, the fresh free agents and surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country. Here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, including half-price pizzas Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and a $6 Bloody Mary on Sunday. Dine in, carry out, get it delivered. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it, by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and America's largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal law enforcement agencies through our many varied programs, including free safety equipment donations, free officer survival training, cash donations, and condolence letters to the family of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty. USDSA also offers college scholarships for the dependent children of law enforcement, along with a citizen awareness program and thank you cards to law enforcement. These are just some of the ways United States Deputy Sheriff's Association assists America's law enforcement and the citizens they serve. For more information about United States Deputy Sheriff's Association or to see how you can help, visit www.usdeputy.org. United States Deputy Sheriff's Association, taking training to the next level because lives are on the line.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is Adam Gold.
Soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
Don't worry, folks. We're going to get more into Carolina Panther talk here. Don't you worry. There's plenty of that. Don't worry. We're going to do a stock up, stock down coming up at about 1:30. We're also going to do a blind ranking of Panthers players and their performance from this past Friday night in preseason game number 1. Don't worry. We're going to get into plenty of Panther talk today. But I wanted to hit on this real fast. By the way, it's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vodenecker producing the show. The AP Top 25 college football poll dropped about 30 minutes ago. And let's just say now, I don't have a vote, by the way, in the AP Top 25. I actually know some reporters and people here in the state of North Carolina that actually do have a vote this year. And talking to some of them, they actually did a lot of their research and really put the time and effort into making their vote as accurate as, or what they felt was best. What they really felt was best. And talking to a couple voters and a couple people, I was happy to hear that from people. Now, I was fortunate enough to vote in the ACC preseason polls about order of finish, preseason, all-conference team, and so forth. I very much take a lot of pleasure in voting in those things. And even when I used to coach college lacrosse, and I actually was a part of the college coaches top 25 poll when I was a head coach, which I actually put a lot of effort into. And unfortunately, there's too many people, whether it's a coach's poll or a AP poll, media poll, whatever it is, that really don't put the effort into stuff. They really don't. They really just look at your brand name, and that's really about it. That's really about it. And not actually putting the effort into, I don't know, trying to figure it out. And it's be educated with their poll, with their vote. So Texas, top 25 AP poll, number 1. Texas, number 1. Same as the coaches poll. Texas, number 1. Penn State, number 2. Penn State, number 2. Here's the thing about Penn State. What have they actually won? What have they actually won? I mean, they don't win conference championships. They haven't been to a national championship. I what am I missing here? Like, what am I missing here about Penn State that says Is this the hype for Drew Aller because of the fact that he's coming back? The hype for Drew Aller, their quarterback, who's good, but hasn't really been consistent over his career. I mean, James Franklin coached teams at Penn State are very good teams. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're top 10 teams, but number 2, I'm sorry. There's nothing about that that says that you've earned that. Now, Ohio State comes in at number 3, which my question on that is, like, well, based on what? They just lost their quarterback, Will Howard, to the NFL. He was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, Jack Sawyer and some of their top defensive guys. I mean, Lathan Ransom, one of the starting safeties, is a 4th-round pick by the Carolina Panthers. Now, it's also, you can say, well, it's Ohio State. They just reload every year. And to an extent, that's very true. Now, both their starting running backs are gone as well. One of your top offensive linemen got drafted too. I mean, it's a restock for them, which is what Ohio State generally does. Clemson comes in at number 4, which I think actually feels appropriate. Because here's the difference with Dabo Swinney and Clemson versus pretty much all the other college football programs out there, is that Clemson doesn't really dive into the transfer portal. And up until, honestly, this last offseason, Dabo Swinney said no to any transfers coming in. Plenty of guys transferred out, but he said no to anyone coming in. But this year, he finally realized, you know what, I need to supplement my roster with some transfers. But the core of that team is loaded with a lot of top 25 talent, or at least a lot of, I guess, first-round talent based off NFL draft projections, including potentially the number 1 overall pick and their quarterback, Cade Klubnik. And those guys have all been there for years. I mean, TJ Parker, their defensive end, is projected to be a top 5 pick. They've probably about 6 or 7 guys that are projected to be first-round picks possibly this upcoming season. And all those guys are built in-house. So the culture's already been set. You don't have to worry about trying to completely incorporate a whole new group of guys into your roster and see how they gel together. See Florida State from last year. And just anticipate things are hopefully going to work out. So I think Clemson right there at number 4 makes sense. But again, Texas was 1. Now, they lost their starting quarterback, Quinn Ewers, who went to the NFL draft, was a 7th-round pick by the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it's just the Arch Manning hype. Call it what it is. It's the Arch Manning hype. It's what it is. But if you look at ACC teams, Clemson was ranked number 4 in the AP Top 25 poll. Miami comes in at number 10 in the Top 25. SMU comes in at number 16 in the Top 25. Those are the only 3 ACC schools that are ranked. The only 3. The top goes SEC, Big Ten, ACC, SEC, Georgia at number 5. Then Notre Dame comes in at number 6. Oregon 7, Alabama 8, LSU 9, Miami 10. Then you start getting into Michigan at 14, Florida at 15. Again, this is where I say you're voting strictly on name recognition as opposed to what they actually accomplished. That's really about it. Oklahoma comes in at 18. Oklahoma was what, like a 6-6, 7-5 team last year? Make it make sense. Now, there are other ACC schools that, by the way, did receive votes. Louisville received votes. Duke received votes. Florida State received votes. If you go on the also receiving votes or others receiving votes category, Louisville will be about 29th ranked. Right there with Baylor, USC. Actually, I take that back. Georgia Tech as well also got votes as well. So Louisville would have been ranked about 29th. Georgia Tech would have been ranked about 31st. 40th would have been Florida State. 41st would have been, 35th would have been Florida State. 36th would have been Duke. So again, 4 ACC schools also receiving votes as well. Here's the thing about preseason AP polls that A, I like, and B, I don't like. The thing I like about them is obviously it's a projection for this upcoming season. So when we see matchups early on in the year, we can say, oh, here's 2 top 10 teams playing each other. Or here's 2, like for example, Clemson has to play LSU to start the year. That's number 4 versus number 9. I like that because it kind of anticipate and build, spectator, the spectacle of it all. But the one thing that I do not like about the preseason polls is I think it shapes and influences the selection committee when it actually gets to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if there's a team that is not ranked, maybe is receiving from votes, but is not ranked, like maybe it's a USC, or maybe it is a Duke, for example. It feels like even if they win and are successful with their schedule during the course of the year, like, for example, Duke has to play Illinois week 2. Illinois is preseason ranked number 12. If Duke, let's say, wins that game at home at Wallace Wade and they continue to build up their schedule and all of a sudden their only loss of the regular season is to Clemson, and they might be competing for an ACC championship game, but the fact that they started outside of the top 25, it feels like, well, it's kind of a fluke. Kind of like what Indiana was last year. That's kind of a fluke. Maybe their schedule wasn't that great. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And it's more of an uphill climb versus, well, Georgia started the year at number 5. If they suffer a couple of losses, well, it's okay. We still think they're really good. It just shapes your perception of a team during the course of the season. That's the one thing I don't like about preseason polls. But I 100% understand why they are there. They're fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to look and see, Clemson 4, LSU 9. What time does that game kick off? Because I'm going to watch it.
People are itching to talk football.
Absolutely. Well, it's not just itching to talk football, but it's just that it builds the anticipation for these games.
Yeah, it gives us something to do till it happens.
It does. It does. But once again, the AP poll, it's just, again, what you think they are going into the season. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? Remember correctly, Florida State was one of the top-ranked teams last season going in. And how'd that work out? It didn't. It didn't. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vonecker producing the show today. By the way, if you want to be part of the conversation, you can give me a follow on all the social medias at The Fan Rookie. At The Fan Rookie. Also, V to the Victoria with a lot of underscores in there if you want to follow Victoria. If you also want to contribute and be part of the show as well, we have one-timers coming up, and a great place that you can contribute one-timing questions or one-timer questions is go to YouTube. Go to 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh is the flagship station for the Adam Gold Show. You can leave your thoughts in the comments on the live chat. We have a live video stream going out there that you can watch. You can leave, again, your thoughts in the comments section below. And Victoria might read your questions here at one-timers, or we just might react to what your comments are during the course of the show as well. So, again, be part of the conversation there. We love that you are part of this community as well. And speaking of those one-timers, Victoria, we have those coming up next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org. Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November?
From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Healthcare? Why?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina, making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Why choose a family physician? Because they provide healthcare expertise for the entire family, care for acute and chronic disease, treat all ages, and most importantly, keep you healthy. In fact, adults with a family physician have lower healthcare costs, better health outcomes, and are hospitalized less frequently. Family physicians, your trusted healthcare advisor for you and your family for life. Brought to you by the NC Academy of Family Physicians.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia-Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
Victoria last night, or I guess late yesterday afternoon, had a beer league hockey championship game. We won 3-1. I did not score on a one-timer. I actually didn't score. I was +1, though. I didn't score on a one-timer, but that doesn't mean we can't take some one-timers right now. All right, what do we got today, V?
Okay, let's see here. So, kicking things off, let's start with some Panthers. So,
let's do it.
Where did you see, in your opinion, the weakest link from the first preseason game?
Oh, from the first preseason game, the weakest link?
An area they might need to work
I mean,
on.
it's still, to me, it's secondary depth. That's really the big question. It's secondary depth. I mean, J.C. Horn did not play. I feel like they found a good one in Corey Thornton. But, and you know, again, among the starters, I thought overall pretty good. To me, the weak link is still the secondary as a whole. Again, I like Mike Jack. I like J.C. Horn. I like Shaw Smith-Wade as a slot corner. Feels like Corey Thornton has found a spot as the backup at least on the perimeter as a corner. We anticipate what we think what Trayvon Merritt can be as a strong safety, someone that really can come up into the box and can make plays near the line of scrimmage. To me, Nick Scott, up and down day. Now, Dave Canales did say post-game that he really liked the fact of Nick Scott's experience with the defense and just being a veteran, that he can get guys organized a little bit, especially a guy like Trayvon Merritt who's new to the defense, and just helping people get in the right spots. But to me, there's a question there significantly as who's going to be the starting free safety and then just depth at that spot. To me, that's – and even at inside backer as well, the Claude and Cheerless injury is actually a significant one. You're already without Josie Jewell because he's still dealing with concussion symptoms from a concussion he suffered late last year. So you're down to Rose, Boom, and Wallace. But, again, it's depth. Once you get past the defensive front, the depth questions are legit.
Nah. Well, moving on. We just have one fresh off the press here from our YouTube stream.
All right.
Why is Florida State receiving votes when they went 12-0 to 2-10?
Because their name is Florida State. That's the thing I said is like people just vote on name brand only. Because their name's Florida State. That's it. That's it. Why is Penn State 2, a school that hasn't won anything under James Franklin? Nothing. And they're ranked second. Because of name. That's it. Because their name is Florida State, and we still think of Bobby Bowden. I don't understand that he won a national championship under Jimbo Fisher like a decade plus ago. Here's the thing about Florida State. The 12-0 season, now let's be honest, where they, again, 13-0 because they won the ACC championship game, where they got screwed out of the college football playoff because Jordan Travis was hurt. We all can acknowledge the fact that they got screwed. We all know that. And I think it was Bush League by the committee to not put them in. Absolute Bush League. But that's the outlier season under recent years for Florida State. If you actually look at, I'm going to bring up Florida State win-loss history for you. If you actually look at Florida State over the last few years, since 2016, now they won the Orange Bowl in 2016, they finished 10-3. Now, they won the national championship back in 2013. But under Jimbo Fisher, when 2016 they won the Orange Bowl, they went 7-6, 5-7, 6-7, 3-6, 5-7. Did have a 10-3 year when they won the Cheez-Its Bowl.
Nice.
Then they went the 13-0, really technically 13-1 because they lost the Orange Bowl. They had so many guys hit the transfer portal, they got blown out by Georgia. And then 2-10 last year. Like the 13-0, because again, I'll count the ACC championship game. That season's the outlier for Florida State. It's been a bunch of 7, 5, 6, 3, 5. Okay, you had a couple of double-digit win seasons, and then you went back to 2-10 last year. Those are outliers now for Florida State. That's not who they are anymore. They're outliers. So the fact that they receive votes in the top 25 is simply because of the brand Florida State. Plain and simple. Florida State football, guess what? You're not good anymore. You had the one flash season. Yeah, you got screwed from the CFP. You 100% did, and I'll back you up on that one. But guess what? You ain't all that anymore. You're just not. All right, what's next?
All right, next up, okay, back to my Carolina Panthers.
Let's go for
after their first preseason game. How much do you believe Dave Canales will leave Bryce and starters in again?
So he did allude to post-game that he would like to have the starters play even a little bit more on this or in the second preseason game. Maybe even getting a third series because he wants them to get the flow of, okay, we have a drive, we come to the sideline, we make adjustments, we go back out there, have another drive, come back to the sideline, make adjustments, talk things over, and then go back out for another drive. He wants to have that. He did say that post-game. I would like to see them play into the second quarter. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see him maybe play into the second quarter. Now, let's keep this in mind as well, especially when it comes to the starters. They play Saturday, this coming Saturday in Houston. Then the final preseason game is Thursday the 21st. So it's a little bit of a shorter week. So it's not like they're going from Friday to Saturday where they have, an extra day or so in between games. So it's a little bit of a shorter week. So depending on how much work they get in the joint practice on Thursday in Houston and in that preseason game in Saturday against Houston, we might not see a whole lot in that third preseason game. That's something that Dave Canales and the crew have to balance and figure out because, again, it's a little bit of a shorter week. I would like to see them get into at least a third drive, maybe even play a full half. But again, all depends on what they want to do going into that third preseason game. Because remember, the first game isn't until, September 8th? Or I'm sorry, September 7th is the first game. So there's still a pretty significant gap between even the final preseason game and week 1. So I would like to see them play into the third drive, I would say, at least in the in the second preseason game in Houston. At least that.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. Let's just see. Which NFL team do you believe is likely to have the biggest come up this season?
NFL team likely to have the biggest come up this season. That's a really good question.
Thank you.
The biggest come up this season. I'm trying to think of the one that really pops at the top of my head. I can think of a couple teams that I feel like are going to slide down, but in terms of a come up, it's hard to say San Francisco because San Francisco had a bunch of injuries last year, but we also expect San Francisco to be a contender of the NFC every year with that roster. Again, they were just banged up last year, so I wouldn't necessarily call that a come up. Seattle, I'm just not expecting much out of them as well, even though Sam Darnold had that great year last year with Minnesota, but I just don't see that magic recreated. The biggest come up that I see, it's not anyone from the NFC South. Not that I see. Again, I think the Panthers are somewhere to 7-9 wins. I don't think that is a come up. I think a come up is more of like a 5-win team that really all of a sudden just skyrockets a little bit. The team with most likely to have a come up this upcoming season, it might be Chicago. Ben Johnson as the head coach in terms of his offensive acumen is nice to see in terms of what he could possibly do with Caleb Williams.
If you're a Bears fan, you should be excited.
You should be. I also don't like the fact that Ben Johnson didn't play his starters in the first preseason game. I mean, it feels like Caleb Williams is on the Bryce Young trajectory right now because his first year, coach gets fired during the season, and all of a sudden Thomas Brown's his offensive coordinator, and then they bring in his second year, an offensive mind, an offensive coordinator, an offensive mind, Ben Johnson, like Dave Canales was, and the offensive mind as a first-year head coach doesn't play his starters in the first preseason game. Feels like Caleb Williams is on the trajectory of Bryce Young. Speaking of Bryce Young, more Panthers coming up.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at X Golf in Cary, North Carolina's premier indoor golf experience, and I have a great idea. Beat the summer heat and get your golf on at the same time. Grab your foursome, even a sixsome, and head over to the X Golf in McGregor Village Shopping Center. Take advantage of my special buy one, get one free deal. Buy an hour, get the second hour free. Just mention gold and enjoy. Heck, it's already less expensive than your regular course, and it's not 100 degrees and humid. X Golf in Cary, the home of premier indoor golf in North Carolina.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
For all of the hype surrounding Bryce Young and the Panthers offense, I am officially filing a worry, a concern about the Panthers defense. I can't look at the depth chart or the projected starting lineup and find a single starter on defense that I think the Panthers could survive an injury to. And you know it's gonna happen somewhere.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Fox & Bailey, the watch shop located inside their Village District location, has the hottest lineup in town. Pre-owned Rolex, Omega, Blancpain, Glashütte Original, Norcane, and more. And we mention those brands for this reason. They aren't just watches. They're icons. They're Hall of Famers. Collector-level pieces with serious pedigree made to turn heads and stand the test of time. Now, clearly, you're listening to 99.9 The Fan, which means you're into sports. Fox and Bailey, they have timepieces built for it all, not just a tuxedo, flashy, but when you're diving, racing, maybe a pilot's watch if you're doing some flying. Whatever your game, they've got a watch that fits the moment and the mindset. Don't forget, with anniversaries, big milestones ahead, that Bailey's Fine Jewelry is your go-to for unforgettable gifts. Their selection of fine and designer jewelry is unmatched. Think timeless, thoughtful, and guaranteed to impress. All at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop.
Parenting is hard. Technology can make it harder. The Family Media Plan developed by the American Academy of Pediatrics helps make it easier. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan today to create the media plan that's right for your family.
Hi, I'm Michael from the Warren Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic, semaglutide injection 0.5 milligrams.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Sanders and Coker to the left, Thielen and T-Mac to the right. Chuba Hubbard back on as the running back to the left side out of the shotgun for Young from the 5. Sets up in the pocket, looking middle. Pocket breaks down, he rolls out to the right side. At the 15, directing traffic at the 10. Throws back in the end zone, Jalen Coker's got it. Coker for the touchdown, and the Panthers score first.
To be able to move the ball down there, come away with a touchdown, I thought was awesome. I was really happy with the operation on the offensive side. Defensively, the communication was really good as well. So I was really pleased with their work.
The sounds of Jim Zoki on the play-by-play on the radio call. The touchdown pass from Bryce Young to Jalen Coker on the second offensive drive for the Panthers, where they took a 7-0 lead, and then the starters were done. And they lost the preseason game 30-10. And guess what? I don't care. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vonecker producing the show today. I should say I don't care about the final score. Now, obviously, if you're the team and the players, obviously you want to win. But as someone who covers the team, watches the team, the only thing I want to see is progress. Progress. That's the thing that I want to see. And no injuries, which thankfully for that as well. By the way, Dave Canales actually did say post-game about, hey, how did you come out on the injury front? He said, normal bumps and bruises, but nothing that's going to impact us going into the next week for practice. I was like, good.
That's a good thing.
Great. Love to hear it.
I mean, you shouldn't even be taking it serious when you have people like Andy Dalton laughing when he trips over his own feet.
Yeah, you know what? Don't we all? Hey, I laugh when I trip over my own feet.
Oh, it's so real.
But real quick injury update. Damian Lewis actually in the joint practice on Wednesday last week with the Carolina Panthers, the offensive lineman. He did strain his shoulder. Dave Canales did say on Friday that he is week to week, so to be determined. Again, Chandler Zavala dealing with a patella tendon injury, so he is still week to week as well. So a little banged up at the interior offensive line position. By the way, Dave Canales today actually did announce Austin Corbett as the starting center. He was in a competition with Cade Mays. Cade Mays will back up at center, but Cade Mays also has plenty of experience playing guard as well. So, Cade Mays could also get a lot of reps playing at that spot as well, at the left guard, to help build, fill some of the holes that might be left there, at least in the short term, while guys are still coming back and getting healthy.
Yeah, that's cool. Him and Corbett have a good relationship, too.
They do. And I would have gone with Corbett as the starting center, and that's the decision that the coaching staff decided to make. But speaking of Friday's game, let's get into it. Let's take two here. Again, the final score of the game, 30-10. It does not matter that they lost, because let's keep in mind, need I remind people, back in 2008, the Detroit Lions went 4-0 in the preseason. 4-0. and then they went 0-16 in the regular season. The preseason results do not matter. We've actually seen a couple ties already in the preseason because they say, you know what, we're not going to overtime. We don't need to take any of these extra reps and maybe guys get. No, let's just call it what it is. Play 60 minutes of football and just be done with it. What the score is what the score is.
Yeah, and speaking of the Lions, prayers and thoughts for the guy who got injured, Norris.
Yes. Well,
That stinks.
He was actually back at practice. Well, he wasn't practicing, but he was at the facility and stuff walking
Yeah,
around.
they did the concussion protocols.
Which
and
is
that's
good
always
thing
good.
to see. Well, let's get to Friday for the Carolina Panthers. Some things that definitely stood out to me. We'll definitely look at the starting offense first. Bryce Young, in my mind, overall, I thought was accurate. He was on time. So much more comfortable than he did at the start of last season. And I said it back in June when I went to minicamp. I saw it, first practice training camp. Saw it at the Fan Fest as well. I said it feels like the offense and Bryce Young picked up really where they left off last season. And I thought overall Bryce had a good day. He was 4-6 completion. Now, one of those was a drop, like a true drop, I think, from Teneroa McMillan. Now, his only pass I felt was a little bit inaccurate was his first pass, actually. It was kind of a check down to Chuba Hubbard on an underneath route. They actually went 5 wide. They had 2 tight ends, actually, on the field, went 5 wide, which I actually was very excited to see that. But Chuba Hubbard was kind of coming on an underneath route. The throw was on his back shoulder. Didn't come up with a catch. It is what it is. But the starting offense got a touchdown on their second drive. I understand that the Cleveland Browns were playing their second unit. I totally get that, which is why you would hope that your offense would go out there and score on a scoring drive. Now, they did give up a sack on that first drive. J.T. Carter, who was filling in for the injured Damian Lewis and Chandler Zavala, so he really was like the third left guard, gave up a sack on a third down. But nonetheless, overall, I thought the offense is pretty good. Here's actually Dave Canales giving his assessment of the starting offense.
Yeah, I thought it was good to just kind of see, some of the matchups that we took advantage of. And, some guys made plays down the field. T-Mac made a nice play down the field. Jalen Coker comes in, when Xavier goes out and did a fantastic job. Like, we didn't skip a beat, made some great plays that way too. So I saw some good rhythm. And I think, the first drive, wasn't what we wanted, but it was good to just get the group out there, just working together, getting into the flow of the game, getting some good runs. Loved how hard Chuba ran, Rico ran, there was a good enough work there, and thinking about maybe getting him another series as we go into Houston, to just kind of feel the flow of the game and have to be out there, kind of work through things on the sideline.
So hopefully we actually do see that in Houston on Saturday. Maybe the offense getting a third drive out there. Come to the sideline after the first drive, make the adjustments, talk things over, go back out there for a second drive, same thing, come back, reassess, go back out there for a third drive. And maybe you're caught in maybe that third drive is, hey, we're going strictly 2-minute drill here. We're going 2-minute drill. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go out there with the mindset of a 2-minute drill just to get those live game reps against somebody else. But we actually heard the play-by-play coming into the start of the program about the Jalen Coker touchdown from Bryce Young. I loved the touchdown pass to Jalen Coker. Bryce brought some time with his legs, saw the field, directed traffic. He and Coker actually locked eyes. I actually remember asking Coker about this in the postgame, and he said, yeah, made a little eye contact. He kind of directed me where to go, but those two having played together and already having some just chemistry together, he knew exactly where Bryce Young wanted him to go, but also knew exactly where Bryce Young was going to throw the ball. He knew exactly the area in which he needed to sit and the time in which he needed to do it. We'll get into more on Jalen Coker here in just a little bit, but I loved that play overall. And also, big-time credit to Jalen Coker here. I know we're going to say more about Jalen Coker later. That later apparently is right now. Jalen Coker was in the game because of the Xavier Legette ejection. Because remember, Xavier Legette and the guy for the Cleveland Browns got into a fight, which,
yes.
It is what it is.
And if anybody remembers, this is the same guy that Chuba got in some scuffles with during
joint practice.
Yes.
Yeah, where he threw the football back at Chuba
Same
Hubbard
guy.
and all that kind of same dude.
Mhm.
So there's history there. Xavier Legette threw a great block and was driving the guy back. Jenkins is his name. was driving the guy back, and he took exception to it post-whistle, and the scuffle started, and Xavier Leggett landed like a three-piece combo. And sure enough, they got into a fight. He really was. I mean, Victoria, I think he scored this one 10-9.
I know.
But that's fine, and that's okay. And you know what? I appreciate the toughness from Leggett. I really do. But it's one of those things as well, as Dave Canales said post-game, be smart. But you got to give Coker credit. He steps in. They don't miss a beat. They don't miss a beat. Now, the player on offense that a lot of people were anticipating seeing live reps for the first time was Teteroa McMillan. And an up-and-down day. Truly an up-and-down day. Dave Canales, I actually asked him this post-game. I said, hey, what is your assessment of Teteroa McMillan?
I thought it was really good. I thought he gave himself some good opportunities to win. I thought there was a ball got on him pretty quickly down there. Could have been the first touchdown. He got hung up a little, and that's red zone football in the NFL. It happens quickly. The window's closed, and the quarterbacks are going to put their back foot in the ground. Bryce delivered a great throw right there, and I think that's one that he'll be able to grow from. We had another opportunity on a slant and go where he and Andy just kind of didn't connect on it, but I thought he won. I thought he got on an edge, and I thought the throw was just a little bit high, but I like the speed of play. I love that he was able to give us an option there.
We saw the good and the bad. The good, that second drive, very first play, go route down the right sideline to T-Mac. Love it. That is what you wanted to see out of your first-round pick. The guy drafted 8th overall. That is what you wanted to see. A slant route on a second down, 13-yard pickup with a corner back playing off. Good route run, easy pitch and catch. That's what you want to see. Not just deep threats, but intermediate as well. Secure the catch. And I also like Carolina for the fact that they were throwing the ball on a second down play, like on early downs. I like the fact that they were actually not afraid to push the ball down the field a little bit on early downs. I liked that. Now, the bad was the drop. We heard Dave Canales talk about it. The bad was the drop in the end zone. It was such a good route, I thought, by McMillan. Put like a little 1-2 step on the corner. Corner wasn't thought. Is he going to break outside to the corner, to the flat? Is he going to cut inside? Had the corner on skates for a little bit. Gets to the inside. Well run route. As soon as the head whips around, the ball's right there and it hits him dead in the hands. Dead in the hands. And this is something that he's going to have to learn, as you heard Dave Canales say as well, is that especially in the red zone, when the quarterback has his back foot planted into the ground at the end of his drop, the ball's coming out. And it's coming in fast because the windows are tight. Guys are bigger, faster, stronger in the NFL. I don't care, even if you played in the SEC, this is the NFL. This is even a higher level. I know he played in the Big 12 with Arizona, but my point still remains. He has to anticipate that ball is going to be on top of him quick. And he's got to come up with that catch because he's going to be relied upon a bunch this season. There's the reason why he's out there running with the ones as a starter already as a rookie, as the 8th overall pick, because he does have that talent and all the physical tools. He just has to anticipate that ball getting there quicker. And that's something that, hey, guess what? This is why you have preseason games. This is why you have preseason games. Is so you can make these mistakes, learn from these mistakes, and grow from those mistakes. And hopefully Teteroa McMillan will do that as well. Again, I understand that Cleveland was running with their second unit. Totally get that. But it's still faster. It still is faster. You're not going up against like a Utah State anymore. Just not.
Yeah.
You're not playing against, New Mexico.
Work the nerves out now.
Get it all out now and learn from it. And people will point out, and I've said it as well. Remember Jamar Chase, the Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver? Preseason was dropping everything. Everyone's like, what? Well, this guy can't catch a cold. This guy couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. We use your whatever analogy you wanted. And then sure enough, look what he is now. I'm not saying Teteroa McMillan is going to be Jamar Chase. My point is simply this, is that even with young rookies, there still is a learning curve. No matter how high they're drafted, there is a learning curve. And this is part of the learning curve. But again, this is why you have preseason games. This is why you have them. Now, he got targeted 5 times, which I thought was great. I like the fact that he got, again, involved early. But you saw the flashes of it early. You saw the flashes of it early. And if he comes up with that touchdown catch, then guess what? The Jalen Coker play, it doesn't happen. And maybe we're not praising Jalen Coker as much. Maybe T-Mac did it on purpose just so Jalen Coker can get that play.
There you go.
I know
Just give him
we'll spin zone.
Just like Xavier got in that fight, just so he could come in.
Exactly. They all did it. They all
That's
did it for
purpose.
Coker. They all did it for Coker.
Looking out for Jalen.
Now, speaking of Bryce Young and Teterow McMillan, Bryce Young actually shared his thoughts on Teterow McMillan, not only his performance in the game, but his performance in training camp in the preseason as a whole.
You know, we've been on it. He's done a great job throughout, from when he got here after draft day to all the way through the offseason, through training camp, of just making a concerted effort of making sure that we're communicating, we're on the same page. And really it's been all the receivers. They do a great job of not just running their route and then going back and putting their head down. And they want to know the why, know the how, know if there's something they can improve. And I'm the same way. As a QB room, I take pride in it. We all take pride in it, making sure we're communicating. Hey, is this what you want? Is this what I want? Whatever it may be, making sure we're on the same page. So seeing that from him and the whole receiving core, it's great to see.
I like overall what we saw from the offense. Overall, again, you're going against the Cleveland second-team defense. Totally get it. But you got a new week coming up. You want to have live reps against someone else. Also, keep in mind as well when it comes to the preseason in terms of grain of salt. No one's actually game planning. It's not like you sat there for the week and we're going to watch film on this team and, trying to learn their schemes and all that kind of stuff and their tendencies and what this guy does or can't do or whatever it might be. You're not game planning like that. It's literally just we're going to run out there, run our stuff, and we'll kind of adjust as the game goes along, but it's really just running your base stuff. So, again, there's no game planning from either side. So, again, take it all with a grain of salt. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vodnecker producing the show today. How can we rank preseason performance? Game 1. We're going to do a blind ranking. Who had the best preseason game for the Carolina Panthers this past Friday? But we do it in a blind ranking. Next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
For all of the hype surrounding Bryce Young and the Panthers offense, I am officially filing a worry, a concern about the Panthers defense. I can't look at the depth chart or the projected starting lineup and find a single starter on defense that I think the Panthers could survive an injury to. And it's gonna happen somewhere.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
So we're back at Monday, but that doesn't mean the fun has to end with the weekend. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and Mondays might be the perfect day to break the bike out after starting a new week. Riding isn't only just a fun hobby, it's a great stress reliever. Now with that, it can also be dangerous, especially when you take into account unexpected bad weather or all the distracted drivers on the road nowadays. And if you are ever in an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, remember to call my friends at Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're just like us. They're riders too. They know the value of your bike, your gear, the investment that you've made, and what it's like to go through an accident. The insurance company just wants to pay you the least amount possible. So at Law Tigers, case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. But sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic, semaglutide injection 0.5 milligrams.
This is Adam Gold.
I have so many questions too. Like, is the mom going to be in the business too? Are we going to have like themed UNC products? She's in it, so.
Interesting ram horn you've got there.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
Who had the best performance for the Carolina Panthers in preseason game number 1 against the Cleveland Browns on Friday? Who had the best? Was it Bryce Young? Was it Jalen Coker? Was it, no, not Andy Dalton. But there's only one way to determine this. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vodnecker producing the show. There's only one true way to determine who had the best preseason performance for the Carolina Panthers on Friday, and that's with the blind ranking. So the way this works is we have slots 1 through 5. 1 through 5, blind ranking. Victoria is going to give you the name of a Carolina Panther player, and I have to rank their performance. I got to slot them 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Once one of those slots is gone, I have to fill in the rest of the ranking. But I don't know the players Victoria is going to give me. I truly do not. I said, Victoria, this is what we're going to do for a blind ranking. You come up with the names. So I don't know who you're going to give me, Victoria. But it's only one way to truly settle who had the best game for the Carolina Panthers on Friday, and it's through the blind ranking. Let's go.
All right, let's start. Our first up, Corey Thornton.
Oh, Corey had a great game.
He did.
He really had a great game. This is a 1 or a 2 for me. It really is. It's a 1 or a 2 for me. I know he actually had really good coverage on a touchdown pass that he gave up when he was in coverage. Like really good. I mean, he was right where he needed to be. Shedeur Sanders threw a tremendous pass. I still don't know how that ball got through. But overall, he had a great pass coverage down the sideline on Deontay Johnson. Basically just ran him out of bounds. And Deontay Johnson sitting on the ground begging for a call. No, you didn't. But yeah, sure enough, Deontay Johnson not doing anything in the Carolina Panthers Stadium. Who would have thunk? But I thought that was great coverage there, even on the very first pass play by Shedeur Sanders. He was right there on top of Deontay Johnson as well. It ended up being a high pass, but he was right there. Came up and made a couple good tackles in the run game as well. Played a lot of snaps. There's not many guys that I think had a better game than him overall. I might put Thornton 1.
That's
like
okay.
right from the get-go. Corey Thornton, number 1.
All right.
Number 1 already off the board.
Coming out hot.
All right, I thought he had a tremendous day.
Mhm.
I thought he really did. For an undrafted rookie to get tabbed to be like, hey, JC's out, undrafted rookie, go run with the ones. And not just ran with the ones, but held his own too. By the way, that Arn Anderson spine buster he dropped on the end round for a tackle for a loss, I was like, let's go, bud.
I know.
I thought he really had an awesome day.
Nice. Okay, so someone who is new to the team, but not new to the NFL, Rico Dowdle.
Rico,
I know he didn't play that much.
Yeah, he had about 12 snaps or so in the game, but he ran the ball strong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not super high because he didn't flash a whole lot, but it's not like he was asked to do a whole lot either, which is, I'm totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll probably put him at 4. I'll probably put Rico Dowdle at number 4. I mean, I actually really like the 1-2 that he and Chuba Hubbard can have this upcoming season. Chuba Hubbard can do a lot of the power lifting, I should say, but Rico Dowdle, I mean, actually, from what I saw in training camp practices, mini camp, as well as in the Fan Fest, the fact that he can actually do maybe a little bit more as a pass catcher as well. And then Etienne obviously is known for being a pass catching back and really good in the pass game. But I really think that's an element that we could see of both Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard on the field together. But if we're going based simply off preseason game number 1, I'll put Rico at 4. I'm okay with that because, again, didn't do a whole lot, but it's not like he was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, he was perfectly fine. Again, I think played 12 snaps. He came out healthy, and that's all I needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say 4. So we have Corey Thornton already at the top, number 1, and then Rico Dowdle, number 4.
All right, so next up, I know a lot of people are waiting for this one. Our QB, Bryce Young.
I'll put him at 2.
Okay.
I'll put him right there at number 2. The only pass that was sort of off was the first pass that he threw to Chuba Hubbard on an underneath route, which I think he was probably like 4th on the progression, because he looked to the right, looked to the middle. Okay, let me hit Chuba here, and just threw it on his back shoulder, where Chuba kind of had to twist to try and catch it. You want Chuba to make that catch because it's still a catchable ball, but it wasn't an accurate throw. There's a difference between the two. A catchable ball and an accurate throw are not exactly the same thing at all times. That's the only play that I would say was like, little off. But otherwise, he was great. The mobility was there. He's extending plays. I thought he was really good. I actually liked one of the best plays I liked was the play action bootleg where he actually rolled to his left and still got his body to turn around. Again, it was designed and threw to Adam Thielen, who was opening coverage, and they got to inside the 10 to set up a goal-to-go situation. Even those little things were good. The pass that he threw to Terrell McMillan down the right sideline was awesome. The one he threw to him in the end zone was great. The anticipation, the everything, the ball placement was perfect, and T-Mac just dropped the ball, which eventually gave us the Jalen Coker touchdown, which Bryce bought time, directed traffic, and threw a great pass to Coker. So I'm going to put Bryce Young at number 2. I thought he had a really solid day. Nice. So Corey Thornton was the first name you gave me. I put him at number 1. Then you gave me Rico Dowdle. I put him at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young you gave me next. I put him at number 2. So we have slots 3 and 5 open.
Yes. Okay. Next up, back to rookies.
Okay.
Mr. Not Tet.
Okay.
A.K.A. Tedero McMillan, A.K.A. T-Mac, but definitely not Tet.
Not Tet. All right, so Tedero
Because
McMillan.
his mama don't like that.
His mama does not. No, he doesn't. I'll put this one at 3 because I thought he had obviously a more impactful day than Rico Dowdle did, but you also had to take the ups and the downs with McMillan. And I think I'm probably going to put him at number 3 is because he showed the flashes of what he can be as a potential number 1 wide receiver for this team. The go route on the very first play of the second drive, runs a go route down the right sideline, and great ball by Bryce Young. Great throw by Bryce Young. But he got off the line of scrimmage, didn't have to fight through contact, had a nice stutter step. The release was good, and hauls in a catch, which is not an easy catch. But Bryce Young put it in a great spot, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's what we wanted to see from a number 1 wide receiver. That's what you want to see from an 8th overall pick at wideout. that. And I actually really like the slant route that he ran for another completion on a second down. I like the fact that he has added an element to the team where he can, with his size and his frame, can get both intermediate and deep routes on early downs as well, because the second catch that he had on the slant route for 13 yards was a second down play. I like the fact that we can see the Panthers potentially push the ball down the field somewhat on early downs. You trust what the running game can be. Hey, if you go incomplete on first down, I'm okay with them running the ball on 2nd and 10 and still being in a 3rd and 5. I'm okay with that because you anticipate Bryce Young with whether it's Coker or Thielen or Jatavian Sanders, whomever it might be, that, okay, you can trust them to pick up the 5 yards. So I like the fact that you can take a shot on 1st or 2nd down. I like the fact that you can push the ball down the field a little bit on those early downs. So, again, an up-and-down day overall by McMillan. The drop in the end zone was not good. He's got to simply come up with that. But it's a learning experience for him, and that's why you have preseason games. That's why you play your starters, at least somewhat, in preseason games to get these reps and this stuff together. That's why rookies got to play in preseason games to understand, hey, this is what it's to be expected. So I am comfortable putting him at number 3 on the blind ranking. So first name he gave me was Corey Thornton. I put him at 1. Mm-hmm. Again, we're simply basing this off of preseason game number 1 and solely that. Mm-hmm. Just strictly off of Friday's game. So you gave me Corey Thornton, I said 1. You gave me Rico Dowdle, I put him at 4. You gave me Bryce Young, I put him at 2. You gave me Teterola McMillan, I put him at 3, which leaves slot number 5 open for on the blind ranking.
You're not going to like this one. Jalen Coker. Oh, I know, because I thought he was going to be 1. When you were like 1 or 2 for Corey, I thought, okay, well, Jalen's going to fit wherever you don't put Corey.
Damn it, Victoria. Come on.
The upside down world. Jalen's number 5's number 1.
Okay, fine. Jalen Coker's 5.
They can just be the end caps.
Bookend this one. He had such a good day. He really did.
He did. It was very impressive. I'm glad. I'm glad he did that.
All right, so the blind ranking. Our blind ranking of players from Friday's preseason game for the Panthers. Corey Thornton 1, Bryce Young 2, Teterola McMillan 3, Rico Dowdle 4, and Jalen Coker 5.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jalen.
Yeah. No offense. Yeah.
I am offended. You say no offense because you're about to offend somebody. That's generally how it works. Jalen Coker had a really good day. Actually, let's go and end the blind ranking. Let's actually get into a little. Let's do a little stock up, stock down.
Okay.
For the Carolina Panthers, do a little stock up, stock down. I got 5 names for you, and a couple of those names you're actually going to hear. That you just heard in the blind ranking. It's actually, let's go and start with Corey Thornton. Stock way up. Stock way up on Corey Thornton. And even Dave Canales, when he was asked about the defense as a whole, the starting unit, he gave praise to Corey Thornton unsolicited, unprovoked. He said, yeah, Corey Thornton did this, Corey Thornton. So then he was asked about Corey Thornton in particular later on because he mentioned his name, and Dave Canales gave a lot of praise to Corey Thornton postgame.
He puts himself in good position, whether it's a tackle or whether it's making a play on the ball. Cooley's doing a great job, teaching him technique, footwork, and all that. He's taking the coaching. He's a natural football player, and then he shows up physical in those moments, and so that was really exciting to see.
I actually had a chance to talk to Corey Thornton post-game, and I asked him in the locker room, hey, the fact that you have the opportunity to not only play with the ones, but you're trusted early on that, hey, with the starting defense, hey, J.C. Horn's not playing. Hey, Corey, undrafted rookie, go out there and run with the starters. Here's what Corey Thornton had to say about being tabbed to run with the first unit.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. My teammates trusting in me to be able to go ahead and be with them and do my job. So by them trusting in me, I just got to keep on going. I know what the standard is, set the standard in practice. So just hold me to it, hold them to it, just keep on going and do my job.
He showed pretty good in pass coverage, including a couple times early on, again, on Panthers wide receiver Deontay Johnson, including a fade route down the sideline, which was excellent coverage. Wasn't afraid to come up and run defense either. I mean, there was a time that this is something as well that I thought was pretty telling, is that the Browns try to do like a reverse end around, and he steps up through a blocker and makes a tackle. The guy tries to like jump by him. He just picks him up and gives him an Arn Anderson spine buster, which is fitting for being in Charlotte, and has a tackle for a loss, which I thought, like, it's those kinds of things. He fought through another tackle to make another blocker to make a tackle at the line of scrimmage. He was solid all around. So stock way up on Corey Thornton. Stock down? I'll put stock down a little bit on Shamar Bartholomew. Here's the reason why. Shamar Bartholomew is with the team. He was picked up as a waiver wire pickup at when initial 53-man cutdown day happened. He was placed on waivers by the New York Jets. Panthers made a claim for him last year, and believe it or not, he was actually the player I think that had the most waiver claims of any player at that time. And Panthers had first rights because they had the worst record in the league in 2023. So they were able to get Shamar Bartholomew on a waiver claim. Now, he really didn't play much at all last year until Week 18 against the Atlanta Falcons, in that Panthers 38-35 overtime win. And he didn't play much other than a couple games where he played maybe some special team snaps. That's really about it, but never actually took any defensive snaps until literally the last game of the season. But he had to come in and learn the defense because he spent all training camp with the Jets, all offseason with the Jets. So, again, he has to learn it as the season's going along. But this offseason, if J.C. Horn wasn't practicing, it was usually Shamar Bartholomew in there. But when the game time actually rolls around, they actually went to Corey Thornton. So, to me, that means you got pushed down the depth chart a little bit. He and Caleb Evans. Caleb Evans was actually injured, I guess. He didn't play in Friday's preseason game. So, he was a little bit banged up and did not play. So, again, they tabbed Corey Thornton over Shamar Bartholomew. That's why I say stock down on Shamar Bartholomew. Stock up, Victoria. The guy who ended up being number 5 in our blind ranking.
That guy.
Jalen Coker.
That guy.
When you are given an opportunity, this goes for any profession, whether you're a football player, hockey player, doesn't matter what sport you play, or just in your line of work. If you are given the opportunity to step in for someone who's not available, maximize your time and show what you can do. That's exactly what Jalen Coker did on Friday. Keep this in mind. As well as we saw Jalen Coker play this past season, this team still went in and drafted Tedoroa McMillan. They drafted Jimmy Horn Jr., and they signed Hunter Renfrow. That's 3 new guys playing in your position. Now, granted, those guys all play the position different ways, and their skill sets are different. But nonetheless, they brought 3 guys into the room that I'm occupying. Now, Hunter Renfrow did not play on Friday. He's hurt. He actually did practice today. We can get into practice a little bit later on. But the fact that 3 wide receivers were brought in. But during the game, the top 3 receivers were Tedoroa McMillan, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, which is to be expected. But when Xavier Legette gets kicked out of the game, and rightfully so, who stepped in? It was Jalen Coker. Jalen Coker stepped in for Xavier Legette's role, and they did not miss a single beat. They did not miss a beat. And guess who catches the touchdown pass on the first drive? Tedoroa McMillan dropped his opportunity. Jalen Coker took advantage of his. Got open in the back corner of the end zone, was open in the corner. The defender went with Chuba Hubbard right there on the flat near the goal line, and Coker was wide open in the corner. And Bryce Young had to roll out to his right, had to redirect traffic a little bit. Coker cuts behind a defender that came over towards him, makes the catch. Did everything he was supposed to do in that moment. Makes a phenomenal one-handed catch on a pass by Andy Dalton that would have gone for 32 yards. But it got called back due to a face mask penalty. He took advantage of the opportunity, the extra snaps. Hey, I can go out here and run with the ones, and guess what? This offense not only doesn't miss a beat, we score touchdowns with me on the field. So, yeah, stock up on Jalen Coker. And David Canales even talked about how this offseason, Jalen Coker really improved himself physically when he was challenged to do so.
It was a collective effort. It was a collective effort to help Jalen take the next steps in his career. You know, coming off a rookie season and having a plan for your offseason. You know, it was Josh Hinks, it was Denny Kellington, it was myself. It was really a collective group to all sit down and put our heads together and say, okay, we have a plan for you from now until training camp. And I promise you, if you stick to this plan, you'll see good results. Now let's give Jalen the credit. You go away for 5 weeks, and he trained, and he worked himself into great shape, and he made some great plays on offense tonight. I can't wait to watch his special teams reel because he was on a couple of the teams and was available most of the night to help out that way too. And so I'm really proud of him. I'm proud of his response. And, you know, when I see a guy smiling and I know he's confident and know he knows what he's doing and feels great. So I'm really happy that Jalen came and showed up tonight.
Coker was awesome. Jalen Coker was great.
Yes.
And if there are any doubts about what that guy can bring to this team, erase them. Erase them. Not only does he need to be a factor in this season, but he needs to be a factor in the future. Because Adam Thielen is in the final year of his contract. He's 35 years old. He's literally 2 years older than any other wide receiver in the NFL. I don't anticipate Adam Thielen being back next year. So then going forward, if you're going to have to pay Bryce Young potentially a big contract after this offseason, same thing with Ike Ekwonu, you still have to figure out what you're going to do for right tackle after the season because Taylor Moton's in the final year of his deal. You don't know if you're going to bring him back or not. Well, guess what? You need to have inexpensive players at other positions. Well, that's where an undrafted free agent like Jalen Coker can provide you because he'll be a restricted free agent and he's not going to be expensive to retain for at least the next couple of years. Xavier Legette, rookie contract. Tedero McMillan, rookie contract. Jimmy Horn Jr., rookie contract. That's a pretty good core four of young receivers that you can build around along with Bryce Young. And Jatavian Sanders. Mitchell Evans also on rookie deals too. But Jalen Coker, the one word that pops into my head, simply this: reliable. The guy is reliable, plain and simple. Yeah. So stock up major on Jalen Coker. Again, took advantage of his opportunity because Xavier Legette got kicked out. Yeah. And what does he go in there and do? What does he go in there and do? Produces.
You could also say ready. He stays ready.
Exactly. Stock down, real quick. Stock down a little bit on Nick Scott. Stock down a bit on Nick Scott. I still have a major question about that free safety position. About who's it going to be? Is it going to be Damani Richardson? Is it going to be Lathan Ransom? Is it going to be Nick Scott? There's still a pretty decent question. I say a pretty big question, I should say, about that. Also, Nick Scott caused the first turnover. He got bumped into, Travis Etienne got bumped into by his own teammate, Nick Scott, when trying to field a punt. And then sure enough, or was it Trevor? I always get Trevor Etienne. But either way, Etienne got bumped into by Nick Scott trying to return a punt, the second punt of the game by Cleveland. Got bumped into, sure enough, muffs the punt. Cleveland jumps to the ball, and then they end up scoring a touchdown a few plays later. But that's a veteran player that you need to have that you can trust in those situations, especially with the rookie returner back there, whether it's Etienne or if it's Jimmy Horn Jr. So, yeah, stock down a little bit on Nick Scott. And the final, stock up, Shaw Smith-Wade. There are 3 plays that Shaw Smith-Wade, to me, stood out as a nickel corner. Second-year guy, 5th-round pick last year out of Washington State. He made a tackle on 3rd down when it was 3rd and long on the second drive for Cleveland, 3rd down and long. He makes a tackle about 2 yards short of the line of scrimmage. It was man covers, but they're playing off man because it was like 3rd and 14, 3rd and 12. He comes up, makes a secure tackle short of the line of game by about 2 yards. Now, this is on the very next play, the Cleveland decides to go for it on 4th down. This is the play where DJ Wanham was chasing Shedeur Sanders with pressure up the middle. Shedeur Sanders actually tried to roll out to his left, but guess who was there? It was Shaw Smith-Wade, also there in the backfield off of blitz as well. So then Shedeur Sanders had to turn back around the other way, and then there's DJ Wanham in his face and just had to throw the ball away. So him being there, applying pressure in the backfield with DJ Wanham helped not only just help prevent the throwaway, but caused the turnover on downs. Earlier on that drive as well, he fought through a blocker, tripped up the running back in the backfield, and he and Trevin Wallace made a tackle together for only like a 1 or 2 yard gain. Stock up, Shaw Smith-Wade. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vonecker producing the show today. On the other side, we need to stretch. We need to take a little break. We got to stretch things out, but also hopefully make some money. Next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org. Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Healthcare? Why?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina, making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Listen on radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com. Carolina Newsmakers is presented in part by the North Carolina Academy of Family Physicians, advancing family medicine in North Carolina since 1947.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry, I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
Victoria, let's not waste any time here. Let's get right into it. It's the Adam Gold Show, by the way. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. Victoria Vodnecker producing the show. It's that time of the show. Not only do we got to make some money here soon, but we got to stretch. Relax, seventh inning stretch. Baseball season is winding down.
Oh, my gosh.
Another,
Baseball.
8 weeks left or whatever it is.
Oh, my gosh. I'm just so mad at my Cubs these days. What is going on? Yeah, we were watching that game last night. Woof. But we're not there yet.
Not yet.
To place your bets, I'm sure. But first, I don't know. Are you an IKEA shopper?
I mean, I've purchased stuff from IKEA before. I wouldn't necessarily call me an IKEA shopper.
See, I know that I've got a couple friends who just love IKEA, and I'd never been until 5 or 6. No, it's probably been 8 years ago now. I made one trip there. Wasn't crazy impressed because they didn't have a lot of stuff. You
Really?
saw a
Isn't
lot
it
of the pictures.
The size of a mall?
Yeah, no, it's massive. But the problem is you would see something you like, and then you go look for it in the little basket where the parts and pieces are supposed to be, and there's just the little picture of it saying, "Oh, we're out of this stuff." I saw that a lot. Well, I tried to give it another shot, and it was even worse the second time. But if that's not the case for new IKEA, because it's been years now since I attempted to do this, you can actually get some IKEA things potentially at Best Buy now.
What? Go on.
I know. You can just kind of check off multiple things, I guess, if you still shop at Best Buy, because IKEA is now opening a bunch of mini IKEA stores, putting them in Best Buy locations, kind of like malls, and you don't see those anymore.
Okay. Hey, you know what? Still go to the mall, people.
I loved going to the mall.
Still shop in person. It actually is good for the economy.
I know. It's great. Well, it's not great for my pockets, but it's great for, getting steps in, too, though. First, the first 10 are going to pop up in Best Buys that are in Florida and Texas this fall, so if you really want to check it out, you can take a trip there and see. But each mini IKEA is going to be, apparently, 1,000 square feet, featuring cabinets and other storage solutions for your kitchen and laundry. Because while you're buying a computer, who doesn't want to buy things for their kitchen and laundry room?
Who doesn't?
They're hoping that people will shop for fridges and washer and dryers while they are looking around, I guess you could say.
Speaking of refrigerators,
Yeah.
I have to confess. I geek out over shopping for a refrigerator.
Oh,
like
do you?
I geek out over refrigerators.
That's very
it's
niche.
a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
But I geek out over a refrigerator. Anyway.
Do you if you go down the refrigerator door aisle at a Home Depot, do you open them all up and look in them?
Yes, I will. I'll be like, yes, this actually. I can
this is
organize this
fancy.
way. Yes, I do.
So-
My girlfriend's probably shaking her head laughing right now.
Okay,
but
so now I
yes,
have to ask. I wasn't going to go
100%.
down this tangent, but are you a freezer on top, fridge on bottom? Are you the middle, with the doors that go straight down the middle and they're even on both sides? Are you the freezer on the bottom and the fridge on the top? There's all these questions
So I am a fan of the double door fridge up top.
Okay.
And then you have the drawer freezer down below, but there are layers to the drawer freezer down below. So you can actually slide and move baskets over. So something you need maybe more readily accessible, or they're right there on top. But if I have to I'm going to deep freeze some steak or chickens or whatever it might be, then I can put that more deeper, I guess you can say, in my freezer.
Right.
Just so stuff's a little bit easier to access. That way it can easily more organized and those kinds of things. And I actually have seen some that actually have there's a drawer beneath the actual double open doors and above the fridge, where it's a simple slide out drawer where you put drinks and snacks. I want that one too.
See, my
I see. Again,
I grew up with the old school one with the freezer on the top. And
100%.
Now, for me, the only problem with those with the doors that split things in half is like it's not big enough for me. I'm like, what if I have really big things I want to put in here? What if you buy a turkey? Where are we going to put?
Well, again, I'm talking about just the top half of the fridge is like the double door, but the bottom drawer is where, again, you can stick if you buy a turkey for Thanksgiving, you can store it away easier. Not the full top to bottom split. That's
my
a little
fridge
bit
game. Probably needs to be renewed.
I geek out on refrigerators. Don't ask me why. But again, IKEA, you can shop for that too.
I know, yeah.
So when you're buying a fridge and a computer
that's
and a camera.
that's gonna be a thing. So, and it's also gonna be kind of like Amazon and Kohl's, where apparently you can pick up things that you order on Amazon from Best Buy, but we shall see how that actually goes. One thing that we should also see is hopefully making some good bets.
Let's go.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
All right, Victoria, start us off.
Oh, well, let's look to baseball, shall we?
Let's
and I
do it.
make a lot of emotional bets, so this is not going to be any different. I want the Brewers to lose because my Cubbies cannot win a game these days. I don't know what kind of slump they're going through, but give me the Pirates to win against the Brewers at home in Milwaukee. Good luck. Plus 175.
That's a choice.
I know. That's what I
to
said.
say
It's
the
an
least.
emotional bet. I would not.
It's very
I would not bet real money.
No, and nor should you. Give me Shohei Ohtani. Hits a home run. Dodgers are at the Angels today. Plus 180.
Okay, let's see here. San Diego Padres are going to be in San Francisco taking on the Giants. You know what? Give me the Padres to be sort of at home, underdogs. It's plus 110.
All right, actually, speaking of this, will actually help your plus 110 for the Padres. Give me Yu Darvish pitching for the Padres tonight in San Francisco against the Giants. Give me Yu Darvish over 4.5 strikeouts at plus 125. So, Victoria, that helps us both.
Nice. Well, and because, like I said, I'm going to make an emotional bet sandwich here. I want the White Sox to lose. So give me the Detroit Tigers to win at home in Chicago on the South Side. And give me the Tigers and the over 8.5 plus 180. Yep, I did that.
Victoria out here betting with hate.
I know.
Give me Nick Kurtz, the rookie, got out of Wake Forest. Give me Nick Kurtz for the Oakland Athletics, who are playing in a minor league park, playing against the other team, the Tampa Bay Rays, who also only play in a minor league park right now. Give me Nick Kurtz to hit a home run tonight, plus 225. So there we go. We placed our bets. We'll just have to wait and see how we do. Coming up here in 4 minutes, one ACC athletic director had some things to say.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the canes,
She scores!
he covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Get ready.
Concepcion touchdown, 13 yards. NC State leads North Carolina with 8:01 to play.
College football kicks off August 23rd.
Jones a first down and more. 10-5. They've tied the game.
Bully ball by the Duke offense.
Down the far sideline, caught at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Carolina.
On 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Guys, Marcy Bailey here from Bailey's Fine Jewelry with some diamond advice. Buying an engagement ring doesn't have to be so complicated. We've been doing this since 1948, and we know what women want, a combination of size and quality. And a little hint here, size wins big. We guarantee you can be in and out in under an hour, and she'll love the ring or your money back. It's that easy. Come see why we're voted the best place to buy a diamond. And remember, every woman wants a Bailey box.
Let's go.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You worked hard for your 401k. But if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today, 919-200-4000. That's 919-200-4000.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with a Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even bad hair day?
Yep.
And tree branch fell on my car day?
Especially that day. Progressive has you covered 24/7 for your home and auto.
How about thought it was chicken, but it was tuna day? Or overnight construction outside my bedroom day?
Those days too.
Great, because that was each day this week.
Been there. Well, at least your home and auto are covered every day with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole! That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Don't give a snow cone to your kids after like the 6th or 7th inning. We would make it at McCormick Field in Nashville, go tourists, and literally the way you'd make it was you get a milk jug and you would put in a pound of sugar.
Well, you could lift off to the moon.
God, I'd see these parents line up with their kids, and I'd be like, hey, you can get that if you want, but they ain't going to sleep.
This is the Adam Gold Show.
Parenting tips from Marty Smith and Ryan McGee. Marty and McGee. No snow cones after the 6th.
That's like if I tell Biff that we're going for a walk, and he's like, "Oh, what? It's the same equivalent. I don't give him snow cones, but
yeah, I mean, what if it's a day game?
I know.
It's a day game.
Maybe it's fine.
What's 1 o'clock first pitch?
Yeah.
Day baseball games are fun, by the way.
Oh, they're the best.
It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vodnecker producing the show today. By the way, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Carolina Panthers coming up here at 2:15. We're specifically talking about the rookie edge rushers, Nick Scorton, the 2nd-round pick out of Texas A&M, and Princely Umamielen, the 3rd-round pick from Florida. I actually got a chance to sit down one-on-one and talk with Umamielen actually after the game on Friday. So I have some exclusive audio coming up for you all from Princely Umamielen coming up here in about 15 minutes. But also coming up in about a half hour, audio from practice today from Dave Canales, some updates on some players, some position battles that no longer are position battles, and more. But first, we must hit the wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
Now, on Friday, I was not able to attend this press conference because I was traveling down to Charlotte for the Panthers preseason opener. But Boo Corrigan, the athletic director from NC State, spoke to the media on Friday, and he kind of gave his state of the athletic department address, I guess you could say, fielded questions from the media as well. And a lot of it had to do with money, revenue sharing. Where does NC State stand in that regard? How much money are they going to actually spend? They're allowed to spend up to $20.5 million in revenue sharing this season. Yes. They're allowed to spend up to that much. Now, schools don't have to spend up to that, but they can. Boo Corrigan, this is what he had to say in terms of NC State is fully committed to revenue share.
In the new landscape of everything that's going on, what are we going to do to be competitive? We're going to go all in. We are all in with regards to the $20.5 million in scholarships and everything. I think it's important for our fans to know that. We've known it. I haven't seen this as a point of reference of we're going to do this with football and this with basketball and this with all of our other sports. But our coaches have known since October that we were all in on what we're going to do.
And you have to be. You have to be if you're NC State. Especially if all the other schools around you that are power conference schools are doing the same thing. You have to be. Now, you technically don't have to be, but you need to be. For the simple purpose is this. If you say, well, we're actually only going to do 15 million or 17 or 18 million, whatever it might be. Well, guess what? That's going to be used against you on the recruiting trail. Hey, you don't want to go there. You won't make as much. Or they're not going to pay as many people over there at that school. Come over here. We got you. It's that simple. It's that simple. But because you are fully committed in terms of revenue sharing, that $20.5 million, well, Boo Corrigan, what are the impacts of revenue share going to have on the rest of the athletic department?
The Wolfpack Club has been great. You know, you look at the opportunity to host concerts at Carter Finley, you look at the naming rights opportunity, you look at what we've done with what we call Pack Forward, right, which affected donations and parking and tickets. And the one thing we didn't really want to do was look at this whole thing and say, you know what, we're going to raise our tickets 30%. We're going to put all this on the back of our fans. We owe, as an administration, everything that we can think of for the ability to raise as much money as we can to try to spread this out as far as we can.
Okay, so he doesn't want to raise ticket prices, which I think is a good thing. I think fans and just people in general are stretched enough when it comes to their dollars in terms of what they can actually attend to. Not everyone can buy season tickets. Some people can maybe only afford to go to one game to bring their family. So if you hike up ticket prices, well, guess what? You're unfortunately shrinking the amount of people that can attend a game. Because again, life is just expensive. It's just what it is. But this is something that NC State has to figure out. He mentioned a few different things. Like, for example, his athletic director position is the McMurray Family Director of Athletics, is the title of his role now because they sold the naming rights to his job post. So that McMurray family is going to be with that athletic director position at NC State no matter whom it is. And they made money from that. How can you continue to find other ways to generate revenue? If you got to sell the naming rights to Carter Finley Stadium, then guess what? You got to go do that. I mean, hit up Krispy Kreme, Bojangles. I don't care who it is. Hey, we're here at the Cookout Carter Finley Stadium. Whatever it might be, the Food Lion Carter Finley Stadium. I don't know. Whatever it is that you got to do to sell the naming rights, if that helps you make money, at least consistently over the years of that deal, then that's what you got to do in order to make up the revenue gap. If that's what you have to do, you can actually sell advertising spots on your field. That is now allowed. Selling advertising spots on your field. So all those businesses I just mentioned, hey, here's the Cookout logo. Or here's a Bojangles logo on your field. And that's, if you're selling Bojangles in your stadium, then guess what? Do it. Or if you got, you sell Papa John's in your stadium, you have the little personal pizzas of Papa John's, whatever it might be. Put a Papa John's logo there on your field. Now, obviously not dead in the center, but you can put it towards the red zone, put it at the 25-yard line.
Yeah.
Like along the sidelines. Absolutely, you should look to do that. 100%. Whatever you can do in order to generate revenue is the big thing. But also the question is, now that you are going to spend this $20.5 million in revenue share, well, how is it divvied up? Boo Corrigan.
We're very honest with our coaches. I mean, all of our coaches, and if you talk to any of them, they understand the importance of football, and specifically men's basketball, right? Women's basketball does generate revenue. Gymnastics, volleyball, wrestling, a number of our other sports do as well. But the best thing that we can do is be really good in football and basketball. So it's a very frank conversation with our coaches. And as we look at that, again, as we look at it, 550 student athletes, that number over time will go down, right, as we get to the roster limits. That total number of athletes will go down over time. But we care about everyone's experience as they come through, whether you're a women's tennis player, volleyball, cross country, wrestling. We want you to have the best experience you can have as you're here. And what does that mean for us? It meant giving them a number and them filling out the team the way they want to.
So part of that number is also there's roster limits that you now have to have. Now, there are players that may have been walk-ons previously that are not going to count towards the roster limits that now have been set in place. They're allowed to still be part of the team. But as time goes along, with the roster limits being set in place, what Boo Corrigan is saying is that, hey, we're going to give you X amount of dollars for scholarships. You can divvy those up however you want to or however you need to. Now, there are some head count sports like football. I think women's tennis is a head count sport. Men's and women's basketball are head count sports. But anyway, with the roster limits, you can basically spend that however you need to in terms of, like, for example, he mentioned wrestling. If the wrestling coach wants to go all in on like 6 weight classes, then the wrestling coach can do that. Or if you want to spread the money out, that's up to them. But the revenue share, let's be honest, the bulk of the money comes from football. Then it's men's basketball. Then it's women's basketball. That's where the bulk of the money comes from. And we have seen some athletic departments say, hey, we're only giving money to 4 sports. If I remember correctly, UNC basically said the same thing. It's football, men's, women's basketball, baseball. They're going to get the revenue share. Now, the lion's share of that's going to go to, obviously, football. But Boo Corrigan and NC State, and really this is what any school has to do. You have to set yourself up to look good as an athletic department, and just not only just as you are competitively on the field and on the court, but also just how you appeal in terms of the money that you generate. Because there is going to be another wave of realignment when it comes to sports. Now, whether it's a college football super league, where college football kind of breaks off into like its own separate leagues and then all the other sports are still part of the ACC, if it's that, or if the conferences all just get reshuffled again, you have to make sure you are in best position to be part of that next group of realignment, be part of the next club. You have to look good in that regard. You do not want to be left behind. And that's what NC State is setting themselves up as best as they can to do. And what North Carolina is setting themselves up to do. That's what Duke is setting themselves up to do. Is that when it all changes, which my guess is with the settlement that the Atlantic Coast Conference had with Clemson and Florida State, which right around the year of 2030 is when ACC schools can buy out of the conference for a much lesser fee, only $75 million, but a much lesser fee to buy out of the ACC to potentially move somewhere else, or even potentially just move their football team into like another league. They are set up for that. I think it's around that time, 2030, because that's around the time when the Big Ten media rights deal comes up and the SEC media rights deal both come up. It's around 2030, 2031. So we're looking at 5-6 years from now. I think that's where we're going to see it all really shift. And we might even hear word of the shift a year or so before that, much like we heard with Texas and Oklahoma. Remember, it was Texas and Oklahoma. We were at ACC Football Media Days in Charlotte back in the summer of 2021. And we found out, oh, yeah, by the way, in a couple years, Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC. We're like, wait, what? We've heard that 2 years in advance. Then sure enough, that's what we had a couple years later. Texas and Oklahoma, gone to different conference. I think 2030 is the year. 2030 is the year where we're going to see this all switch over again. And people aren't going to like it, but it's what it is. Eventually, I think we're going to get to some sort of college football super league where there might be about 48 teams or 50 schools involved, and then everything else is still going to remain in the conferences that they're in. It's like we'll still have ACC basketball as we know it. We're still going to have SEC whatever as we know it. Big Ten whatever as we know it. But in terms of football, I think we're going to eventually get that Super League, and I think the year is 2030 or 2031 because that's when the two biggest conferences in the Big Ten and the SEC, that's when their media rights deals are up. And I think if they form this Super League, then the Super League can sell their broadcast rights just like the NFL does. Hey, chunk of it gets bought by CBS, chunk of it gets bought by Fox, chunk of it gets bought by Disney/ESPN. Some of it gets picked up by Amazon, some of it's owned by Netflix. YouTube gets a game. I think that you never know. Turner might get involved. Turner broadcasting, TNT, TBS, they get a couple of college football playoff games. I think that's eventually what we're going to see. I just think that's where this is all headed to. And Boo Corrigan, as the NC State athletic director and any athletic director, has to make sure that they are not on the outside looking in. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vodenecker producing the show today. By the way, if you want to get involved in the conversation, look up 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh is the flagship station for the Adam Gold Show. I know this show airs all across the state of North Carolina, but 99.9 The Fan is where this show is based out of. And if you want to be part of the conversation, look up 99.9 The Fan on YouTube or search the Adam Gold Show on YouTube. You can actually watch the show live when it's streamed or go back and actually watch the entire episode. It's available there. Also, clips are posted from the show as well. You can leave your thoughts in the comment section. You can leave your thoughts in the live chat as it's taking place. We want you to be part of that conversation, to be part of the community. You can interact with each other there as well. So make sure you not only search it, but subscribe, like, also hit that little notification bell. Hit the little notification bell so when clips are posted or if we do go live, you don't miss a thing. How did the two rookie edge rushers do? There's one player that made two pretty awesome plays in my mind. We'll discuss those next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the preseason, so me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, are back in the trenches with our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp rolls forward. Insight on the rookies, the fresh free agents and surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Mother Nature decided to give us a wonderful weekend outside, so if you're a rider, hopefully that meant some motorcycle therapy. I'm Victoria Vodenecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and after a week of on and off rain, we were given an early August gift with a beautiful weekend, and honestly, it's only a taste of the season we're about to head into. So as you plan those trips on your bike when we're given these gorgeous days to utilize, it's never a bad idea to plan for the just in case. And just in case you're ever in an accident on your motorcycle, remember to call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they get it. They know the value of your bike, your gear, the investment that you've made, and what it's like to go through an accident. The insurance company, they just want to pay you the least amount possible, so case evaluations are always free, and you won't pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Adventure awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation, and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the world, but one thing's for sure. You need a PC you can rely on. Whether it's for school, gaming, or whatever your next chapter holds, Lenovo.com has the tech to help you succeed. Shop PCs right now at Lenovo.com during their back-to-school sale, where students can save more when they sign up for a Lenovo education account. Free shipping, easy returns, flexible financing. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. Let me go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
So on Friday, not only were a lot of eyes on rookie first-round pick Teteroa McMillan for the Carolina Panthers among Panthers fans and people that cover the team, but also on the young edge rushers. Nick Scorton, the second-round pick out of Texas A&M, and third-round pick Princely Umamielen out of Florida. There's a lot of attention on those guys as well, and those two actually got a lot of playing time as well. We actually have some exclusive audio from Princely Umamielen. I actually had a chance to speak to him one-on-one in the locker room post-game. It was really interesting to get his perspective on a lot of different things. We'll have a couple of those sound bites for you. But first, let's hear from the head coach himself, Dave Canales. What did you like from Nick Scorton and Princely Umamielen back on Friday?
Oh, just the effort. Princely, off the top of my head, I remember one run play where he set a beautiful edge. Sam Roberts comes barreling down from the backside, and when you can set a great edge on the perimeter, you allow those big men inside to kind of come off their blocks, make plays, and the backers to flow over the top. Probably my favorite Nick Scorton play of the night was, had a great rush. Shadur worked his magic, got out of it, kind of scrambled all the way back to the right. Nick pivoted, ran another 40 yards, chased him and knocked him out of bounds on a play that could have been a huge run. That's what we saw on film, that effort, that relentless pursuit, and I was so excited to just see that show up today because that's just great football, and so I'm really proud of him for, just playing with the kind of effort that we were expecting from him.
So that Nick Scorton play, there's, again, two Nick Scorton plays that really stood out to me, and Dave Canales just described one of them, where Nick Scorton got into the backfield and forced Shedeur Sanders to scramble. He cuts back across the field. He was all the way on the left side of the field, was Shedeur Sanders, all the way to his left. Comes running back all the way to the right. Trying to buy time, obviously, but also just trying to find someone open. So you also had to give credit to the coverage. No one was available to go to. But Bobby Brown tries to step up on Shedeur Sanders in open space. I'm going to generally give a pretty mobile quarterback and Shedeur Sanders the edge over a big nose tackle like Bobby Brown. And sure enough, here comes Nick Scorton coming sprinting back all the way across the field and beats him to the line of scrimmage and actually, again, forces him out of bounds about a yard short of the line of scrimmage and gets credit for a sack in that regard because it is a loss of yards. He forced him out of bounds. That is a sack, passing play. So not only did you have that, but there's another play that stood out to me as well was he had dropped into pass coverage, did Nick Scorton. He was playing outside linebacker. He was on the left side of the defensive formation. He dropped into coverage. There was a quick wide receiver screen in front of him to his side of the field. He fought through a blocker and came up with a tackle for a loss. So I was curious to see what Nick Scorton would look like reading and reacting in pass coverage too, because let's keep in mind, McMillan and Scorton are outside linebackers. This is a base 3-4 defense. They're not DNs. I know we label them as edge, but these guys are outside linebackers. They will be asked to drop in pass coverage. We saw even Brian Burns a couple years ago have to drop into pass coverage. We even saw Jadeveon Clowney last year have to drop into pass coverage because that's what this defensive scheme asks them to do. So I was curious to see what Scorton would do. Okay, he's got to drop in coverage real quick. How does he react to the football? And I liked what I saw in that particular play. Again, these guys didn't play a ton of snaps, but from what we saw, it was really, really good. And talking to Nick Scorton after the game about the bond that these two guys have put together, he being Princely McMillan and Nick Scorton, and he was asked about that, about the connection that those two have, and here's what Nick Scorton had to say.
Oh, I mean, it's been great. I really admire Princely how he rushes, and he just has freakish abilities, and I'm just excited to continue to build that relationship with him and learn how to play with him, and just get better with each other.
There's a strong connection between those two, which is a good thing to see. These guys, again, drafted the same day to the same team. They played the same position. These guys were meant to bring in together to, hey, you guys are not only can help us now, but you're our future as well. And having veteran support is also a big thing. And this is what Nick Scorton talked about, having vets in front of them to help show them the way.
I mean, we got lucky to have two guys who, understand. I mean, we're trying to go take their jobs, but also, want us to be better for the team and want us to push them and want us to get better. I mean, we're just blessed to have those two guys.
It's a delicate balance as a veteran player because, again, as Scorton said, these guys know that we're trying to take their jobs. We're trying to take that first team spot. We're trying to be out there to start the game. We're trying to get more reps. We're trying to get more snaps on game day. So it's a balancing act as well because also you have to understand as a veteran, hey, that's your teammate, and he's going to be relied upon at some point to help you win games. And actually, Pat Jones today was asked about balancing mentorship of young players versus also trying to keep his spot.
I mean, that's part of the game. That's how he should think. That's how his mindset should be. Of course, I'm not going to let that happen. But for sure, you want that competitive edge in the room, and when everyone's competing like that, it just makes the whole room better.
Again, it's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
It really is.
I like the vibe. I feel like there's a good locker room vibe with them.
And there really was. Again, talking to these guys post-game and being in there for the first time this season, and the chance I've had to go to practices a few times, and just being around the team, you can tell there's that good balance, I guess you can say, between those guys. And again, I talked one-on-one. This is some exclusive audio from Princely McMillan. I did ask him about, as a pass rusher, he said that, at Florida, he really only had to use his speed. But now that he's in the NFL, playing different offensive tackles, playing at NFL level, how he might need to show off some more of the things that he can do. And I asked Princely about how he's expanded his pass rushing repertoire.
Thus far, I ain't gonna lie, I've still been on with the finesse, you know what I'm saying? But as the season goes on and as practice goes on, I'm still trying to work on opening up my bag and, using more power and things like that.
There are a couple of times I thought he had a pretty good pass rush. I remember when Cleveland was kind of backed up to their own end zone a little bit. For correctly, it was in the, I want to say it was in the second quarter, I want to say. But I thought McMillan actually got held at least once or twice. So I was like, okay, he's showing that first step and that speed to get through. Now he's got to finish with the power to fight through, potentially a hole. Because, again, they're not always going to get called. Refs make mistakes too. Refs miss stuff. But Dave Canales, remember actually Dave Canales in the postgame said, we heard the clip just a moment ago, about how he actually really liked the way that Princely McMillan actually helped set the edge in the run game. Now, I asked Princely post-game, I said, hey, the perception of you was that you're a speed edge rusher coming in. Dave Canales gave you some praise about what you're able to do in the run game. And here's Princely McMillan talking about, even though stopping the run isn't his forte, he's not a slouch at it.
Yeah, I think that part of my game is very much underrated. Like I said before, although I wouldn't say I'm like the most elite run blocker, but I feel like I've never been run defender. I've never been a liability when it comes to the run game. But I'm also working on that too. But I do think that's a very, very underrated part of my game.
I don't have this audio here, Victoria, but I did ask Princely about he and Scorton and their relationship together, because there's a couple times where they both got some pressure in the backfield. And I asked him, like, you guys have like talks, hey, I'll meet you at the quarterback. And Princely McMillan joked and said, yeah, Nick's kind of, he'll joke around and say that kind of stuff sometimes. You talk about vibes in the locker room. You say, Nick's coming up, with some sack celebrations for us and things along those lines. And then I asked Scorton, I said, hey, Princely said you got some sack celebrations in mind. What do you have in mind? He goes, we'll just have to wait and hopefully see in Houston. I was like, all right.
All right.
There it is. I like it. But then again, it's that the vibe that those two have that you mentioned, Victoria. It was really cool to see, just being able to talk to them both, and how much those two young edge rushers build off each other and are feeding off each other. It's a really, really cool thing to see, because those guys were drafted with the anticipation of being the future of this team.
Mm-hmm.
Not just only helping them now, but, again, growing and being the future. I'm excited about the potential of what these guys can grow into. And I always caution fans on this, I even caution media members on this as well, is that the potential of what these guys can become and what we hope they can become long-term doesn't mean that's who they are immediately right away. They still have to grow into those roles. They still have to adapt into playing in the NFL and adapt to what they're being asked to do. I asked McMillan early in the game what his first thoughts, of actually getting out there in the field, and his first thoughts were, he says, early in the game I was thinking a lot, because I was thinking about what my assignment was and, what my keys were and those kinds of things. But he was thinking a lot, and I asked him, okay, well, when did instinct kick in? And he said he felt like in the second half that he was playing. Now, he obviously didn't play a whole lot in the second half, but it took him a little bit for just instincts to kick in, and that just comes with time. Being able to play instinctually as opposed to not thinking. And that's when we're going to start to see these guys play faster. So we project very high about what McMillan and Nick Scorton can be. But that doesn't mean that's who they are right now. Not saying they can't contribute or won't eventually get there, and may get there at some point this season, but make sure we have a little bit of a tempered expectation when it comes to the development of young players, because they are super young. Nick Scorton doesn't turn 21 for another 2 weeks. The dude's that young. He hasn't even turned 21 yet. He's still growing physically. There's a lot of potential in these guys. Now let's hopefully see them fill out that potential in due time. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Victoria Vonecker producing the show today. We're going to have more Carolina Panthers talk for you, including fresh audio from practice today from Dave Canales, Xavier Legette, Pat Jones. All that and more coming up next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org. Make this your best summer yet by having fun while staying active and engaged. AARP can help. Find AARP events near you by visiting aarp.org/local. That's aarp.org/local to find both in-person and virtual events. You can also learn more about living your best life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Healthy People, Healthy Carolinas, a powerful initiative from the Duke Endowment that supports community-based coalitions working together to improve health. In our latest episode, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association, Jordan Fry of Healthy Together Cleveland tells us how HPHC is making a difference in her county.
It means everybody's at the table. Healthcare providers like Atrium Health, the county's health department, our food pantries, our school systems, colleges, cooperative extension, farmers markets, but most importantly, our residents. Everybody has a role to play, and Healthy Together Cleveland acts as the connector.
Learn more and join our latest Conversations on the State of Healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, and learn more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Healthcare? Why?
Why is it so hard?
Healthcare is broken.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, we get it.
Really?
Really. That's why we're making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Really?
Really. We're making plans easier to navigate by putting all your benefits, prescriptions, and details on your computer and phone. Convinced?
No, but it's a start.
We'll take it. Blue Cross North Carolina, making healthcare better for all, starting with you.
Why choose a family physician? Because they provide healthcare expertise for the entire family, care for acute and chronic disease, treat all ages, and most importantly, keep you healthy. In fact, adults with a family physician have lower healthcare costs, better health outcomes, and are hospitalized less frequently. Family physicians, your trusted healthcare advisor for you and your family for life. Brought to you by the NC Academy of Family Physicians.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
Victoria bringing the heat.
I know. This is an older one. I love this.
Well, what you know about me, if you want to find out more about me, give me a follow at The Fan Rookie on all the social medias. You also follow Victoria V to the Victoria with a lot of underscores in there.
Yes.
Trust me, you'll find her.
It's there.
You'll find her.
Is that person in the octagon? Yes.
Yes, they are. It's the Adam Gold Show. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold this afternoon. Again, Victoria Vonecker producing the show today. By the way, Adam will be back tomorrow. So don't fret, folks. Adam will be back tomorrow. But we have some fresh sound bites from Dave Canales today. Big shout out to our guy Max Gorham for pulling these sound bites for us for the show today as well. So this is fresh off of practice. I haven't heard these sound bites. I know Victoria has them listed as. Another player, actually another rookie, Victoria, that we actually haven't talked about was Jimmy Horn Jr.
Yes.
Got a lot of touches of the football in the passing game. You saw his speed visibly on the field. Again, not a big guy. I think I'm contractually obligated to talk about his lack of size. But you saw the quickness. Even on some kick returns and some punt returns, you got to see it a little bit. You saw the speed. And initially, when we saw the unofficial depth chart for the Carolina Panthers come out last week, Jimmy Horn Jr. wasn't listed with the first string nor the second string. He was actually listed with the third string. So basically almost like the seventh wide receiver. The starters being Thielen, Leggett, McMillan, obviously. The second unit was Renfro, David Moore, Jalen Coker. And then part of the third string was Jimmy Horn Jr. But Jimmy Horn Jr. did get a lot of playing time this past Friday because Leggett got kicked out and also Hunter Renfro wasn't playing. So, hey, more opportunity for you. And Dave Canales did talk about the initial depth chart for Jimmy Horn Jr. and the room for him to grow.
Honestly, it's just pushing him to grow every day. You know, show us that we have to have you here. Show us that we have to put you on the field. Show us that we can count on you. You know, and those are things that he's taking strides in, and that he's really competing. He's one of the first guys in the building. You know, he's give love to Keyshawn Coleman, one of our quality control coaches, who is constantly with Jimmy before, after practice, after meetings. He's working the right way. It reminds me of a young David Moore, 7th round pick out of East Central Oklahoma, and I spent every second that I could with David Moore for about 2 years, to the point where now he's had a really successful career, you know, on a couple of different teams. But it's that type of work, it's that type of development and mindset that Jimmy has, that he wants it, you know, and that goes really far with us.
And, you know, I'm not going to lie, reminding of him of David Moore to Dave Canales, I think is actually praised because, again, you mentioned Dave Canales, or as he just said, that he's known David Moore for quite a while. Those guys were together in Seattle. When Dave Canales became the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay, who went to Tampa Bay with him? It was David Moore. When he came up here to Carolina, guess who came with him? David Moore, because he trusts him. He relies upon him. And there's a lot of competition in the wide receiver room. And actually, apparently today at practice, there were a lot of big plays that took place, including Jalen Coker as well, who I think it's Jalen Coker's turn on the carousel, Victoria, to get all the love and praise among the wide receivers.
Yeah.
I think it's that time. But Dave Canales talked about how practice today, it's just things are super competitive when it comes to the wide receivers.
Jalen Coker had another great day. Bryson Tremaine again, just being where he's supposed to be. And playing fast. I think that's the biggest thing is when guys are playing fast, it tells me they know what's going on, that they've been studying and they feel confident. And that's what we've seen out of him. It was great to have Hunter back out there today, running around, getting some one-on-one reps and all that. So it's a very competitive room, and I'm excited to see, as we continue to have these preseason opportunities, to see the guys we can count on.
I remember after the Fan Fest, so it was basically like a week and a half ago. At FanFest, Jimmy Horn Jr. spoke to the media, and I asked him what's the difference between the start of training camp in the summer up until that point. And he said he cut down on the mental mistakes. And that's what we talked about, learning and understanding what you got to do. He said early on in camp that, mental mistakes, you're a rookie, you're trying to learn all this stuff on as you're going along. And he felt like he can play more confident and more fast, because he cut down the mental errors and just, again, simply knowing where you need to be. It's you hear it all the time about just being at the right spot at the right time, but that's 90% of the battle. Be at the right spot at the right time. And it's a lot of competition. Again, Hunter Renfro back out there at practice. That's a significant thing, because if depending on how his hamstring holds up, guess what? He's going to play probably on joint practice on Thursday and probably in the preseason game on Saturday, which, okay, well, guess what that means? That's less snaps for someone else, especially if the starters, like Dave Canales said post-game on Friday, that he would like to get the starters a little bit more work. Okay, well, then guess what? That means it's less snaps for the backup. And it's just, again, there's the trickle-down effect of when it comes to all this. And even Xavier Leggett, after practice today, discussed the competition in the wide receiver room.
Man, it's hard to say, man. I hope everybody can get a chance, but it don't work out like that. So just got to see how it play out.
Love hearing that guy talk any single time.
It's the greatest.
But it's a real thing. It's like, yeah, you want to see everyone work, but it's just not the reality. Okay, let's say 6 wide receivers make the roster. Well, 3 guys are going to get a lion's share of the snaps. So if you're 4, 5, 6, what else can you do? You got to be able to contribute on special teams. You're not going to get as many snaps as the 3rd or 2nd guy. You got to contribute on special teams, whether it's covering kicks, returning kicks, whatever it might be. You have to be able to factor in the game in some way, shape, or form. You can't be, I'll bring in the name, Terrace Marshall Jr. Remember that guy? Former 2nd-round pick? Can't be like Terrace Marshall Jr. where he didn't play special teams. Well, guess what? If you're not one of our top 2 or 3 receivers on the team, there's no other way that you can contribute. Well, then guess what? That means you're not going to be around. David Moore can play special teams. Jimmy Horn Jr. can return kicks. Hunter Renfrow can return punts. Jalen Coker both covered and was part of the return team as well as a blocker. He's found that, hey, you know what? I can do things in other ways as well, other than just being a pass catcher. You have to do those things. Now, Dave Canales also discussed the defense as well. Dave Canales talked about the defense overall having a good day today. Apparently, Derek Brown was back at practice today. He and Trevin Wallace had an impact in the run game based off things I was reading, including from Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer. But there are still a lot of things for both sides of the football to work on. Here's Dave Canales.
It certainly did feel like that. Derek Brown practiced today. That's kind of, where the story went with the run game stuff, front side or back side. He was just bringing it every play, and I think the guys kind of feed off of that energy and create some different issues, for us up front. And, I was really excited about that. We had some good rushes too. I thought Nick Scorton had a great day. He was all in the pocket consistently. And, I think the thing to show the defense is you can play really well, but you give up one big play, it flips the field, and the chances of that drive scoring increase. So it's about the level of consistency across the board, right, with the run game and the pass game and vice versa for the offense. Like, if we're not making yards in the run game, we're going to be sitting in a lot of 2nd and longs, where we can be balanced and run it some, but we're going to try to get back into a manageable 3rd down situation. And so, and then I just didn't like the way we had a couple of in the last, we had our backed up drill today. You got to get 2 first downs. You start on the -2 yard line, and it's a long way to go. Penalties. We had 2 pre-snap penalties that put us into 2nd and 12s that turned into 3rd and 12, and it's really hard to sustain success there. That's something that we, that showed up in the game. I was hoping we could clean that up, and it showed up again in practice today, so it's something that we'll address in the meetings.
Okay, so he touched on a lot of different things there, did Dave Canales, but let's stick with the defensive side of things first. So Derek Brown, obviously playing and participating in practice, obviously has a massive impact on the run game. We all know the 100-plus tackles that he had back in 2023. You don't get that by accident. I mean, you can argue that Derek Brown is the best run-stopping interior defensive lineman in the league. Now, again, he's coming off the injury with the knee last year with the meniscus tear and the meniscus repair for the surgery. So you have that along with, again, a little bit of an oblique issue that he's dealing with right now. But him being out there on the field only makes life easier for everyone else. Simple as that. Derek Brown on the field will make life easier for the other 10 guys on the field. Make life hell for the guys in front of him, but for the guys that are playing next to him and behind him, it's going to make life a lot easier. I love the fact, Victoria, that he mentioned Nick Scorton, the fact that he was in the backfield. And this is something that I noticed on Friday, especially from guys from the first unit, is in the couple series that they did play, there was pressure on Shedeur Sanders. Now, I understand that Cleveland was playing with a lot of their second-string guys. I totally understand that, which in that case you hope to generate pressure from your defense. I like the fact that the defense was in the backfield consistently on multiple plays, especially that second drive. The defense was in the backfield. Even on the very first drive, the pass completion on 3rd down by Shedeur Sanders where Christian Roseboom comes up, makes a tackle short of the line to gain, and then Cleveland elects to punt there on 4th down. Even on that play, Shedeur Sanders had A'Shawn Robinson pushing his offensive lineman into his face. I like the fact that they were able to do that on Saturday. Now, the question is, can you finish plays off and get the sack? We saw actually Nick Scorton get a sack, was credited with one where he chased Shedeur Sanders all across the field on one play, literally from the left sideline to the right, and forces him out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. You get credit for a sack on that. And kudos to Nick Scorton for that. Those are the kinds of plays that you want to continue to see from Nick Scorton early on. And Derek Brown's going to have a massive impact on that. So again, a lot of stuff for both teams to work on, or both sides of the football to work on for the Carolina Panthers. That's why you have the joint practices in the preseason games. And you've only had one so far. So you got a couple more to continue to improve things and clean them up. And the fact that you're making mistakes and you have it on film, you can show the guys, hey, look, I don't care who's out there, first, second, third team, doesn't matter. You can't have pre-snap penalties. Whether you're jumping off sides on defense or you're false starting, illegal shift, illegal motion, you're not whatever it might be. Can't afford those. You can actually have it on film and you can show the results of it. Now you can say, well, they should obviously know that. Well, of course they should obviously know that, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. All right, let's actually, there was, real quick, offensive side of the ball. There was a position battle, by the way, on offense. Who's going to be the starting center? Cade Mays, Austin Corbett, Dave Canales. Who has that spot?
You know, we talked to Austin and we talked to Cade Mays. They both did a great job. Austin Corbett's going to be our starting center. And we decided to make that decision knowing that this week going to Houston with the joint practice and then having the game, we felt like those reps, you know, just kind of solidifying who's the starter going to be with Bryce. It's a good time to kind of transition to where he's getting more of those reps versus splitting them day after day. It was really close. I'll be honest. I thought Cade did a fantastic job orchestrating the group when he was out there, getting his snaps off on time, moving people in the run game, anchoring in the pass. I mean, it was a really close competition, and I think Corbett just kind of brings a level of leadership that just kind of edged him out, in my opinion. So, but again, competition brings out the best in both guys, and I was really proud of the way that they competed.
I like the fact that the veteran in Corbett was the one that was named the starting center. I personally would have stuck with him as the veteran. Cade Mays doesn't have as much NFL experience overall as Austin Corbett does. Now, here's a little bit of a caveat when it comes to this as well, is that my guess is with the injury right now to Damian Lewis, the starting left guard, who has a shoulder strain, an injury that he suffered on Wednesday last week in the joint practice with Cleveland, he is week to week. And Chandler Zavala, who has a patellar tendon injury, also week to week. So your starting left guard is hurt right now, and the guy that will probably be next to back him up also not in right now. My guess is that Cade Mays, who has experience playing at guard, and is actually what he played at Tennessee in college, has the opportunity, in my eyes, to fill that void until Damian Lewis is ready to go. So you know what he can do, obviously, in terms of understanding the offense, but I think the versatility of not only Cade Mays but also Austin Corbett gives you a little bit of flexibility on the interior of your offensive line. And Brady Christensen can also probably slide in and play guard as well. That guy can play anywhere across the offensive line. But Cade Mays is an interior offensive lineman. And I think if Friday was a real game for the Panthers against the Browns, I think with the injury situation, you probably would have seen Cade Mays start at left guard. Not JT Carter, who started there. I think you probably would have seen Cade Mays start there. And I think it might be, Victoria, where things might work in practice this week. It's like, you know what, Austin Corbett, you're going to be our starter. Get those reps at first team. Hey, Cade Mays, we're going to work you in at left guard now because we have injuries at the spot. Yeah. And you never know, depending on how guys heal up, he might start at left guard at the beginning of the season.
Sure.
In week 1. It might be a real thing. So having that position flexibility is good, and this is also why it was good on the Carolina Panthers to retain all their offensive linemen from last year. That's what I really like about that as well. Another thing, Victoria, that happened on Friday. We haven't really addressed it a whole lot. We've talked about it a little bit. Xavier Legette winning his round with Rayshawn Jenkins of the Cleveland Browns 10-9. We're going to score that fight. But they both got ejected from the game. Let's actually get into Dave Canales talking about Legette's response after fighting on Friday.
He's got fresh legs there. And
so we'll get into that here in just a second. But Xavier Legette got into a fight with Jenkins, the defensive back, on Friday, got ejected from the game, and totally justified. When we saw it happen, we're like, oh, yeah, these guys are getting kicked out. And Dave Canales on Legette's response after fighting on Friday.
he's got fresh legs. I think he only played, that drive. And so of all the guys, probably the freshest coming out there. And but, he bounced back quickly. We had a great conversation afterwards. He knows, he wasn't defensive about it. He was like, I got to be better. And, kind of just moved on and he was ready to work today.
And Xavier Legette even, to the fans, hey, you know what? I shouldn't do this, and even issued an apology to the fans today.
Oh, man, it was just something that I shouldn't have did, and that ain't supposed to happen in a football game, so I feel like I owe the fans an apology.
I tell you what, Xavier, as a fan, you don't need to apologize,
You don't need
buddy.
to apologize to me.
I still love you. I appreciate the apology, but it's not necessary because we got your back.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, since it's the same guy that was starting stuff with Chuba, obviously he's the problem.
Ain't gonna take no mess.
Set the tone, Xavier.
Exactly.
Ride that horse on out of here.
Well, he did, unfortunately,
Yeah,
in the first
I know.
quarter.
Now ride it back.
I'm funny if he wrote dollar bill into the locker room. That actually would have been funny. But speaking of that conversation, Dave Canales mentioned about the conversation he had with Xavier Legette post, the game. Here's Xavier Legette on that conversation with Canales.
I just keep the main thing, and that's the ball. Yeah, I know I ain't supposed to do what I did. So I'm going to just leave that on the field.
Now, regular game, I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Regular season game, you don't want it to happen. Here's the thing. I was taught this as a player, and I used to teach this when I was coaching. If the other team wants to make mistakes and be dumb, don't get in their way.
Yeah.
Don't get in their way. So if the other person on the other team wants to throw jabs or whatever it is, pulling your helmet, let them.
Yeah.
You'll take the 15 yards, move the ball right down the field, and then you go score a touchdown and be like, and you know what you just do? You say thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let the other guy crash out.
Same thing in hockey.
Yes.
They want to instigate? Go on ahead.
Funny story. Last night I had my men's league, my beer league that I play in. We had our championship game yesterday. And we were up 2-1, and one of our guys took a penalty with 2 minutes left.
Oh, no.
And off the face-off, one of our forwards gets the puck off the face-off, races down the ice on a breakaway, goes like forehand, backhand, scores to make it 3-1 in the game with 1:50 left. So we take a 3-1 lead with a shorty. And a guy on their team just starts slamming his stick on the ice. Talk about all-time crash out. And fell down in the process of doing it. Broke his stick literally in like 4 pieces.
Not a good
I was like, dude,
buddy.
that's an expensive anger temper tantrum. And, of course, he got a 10-minute misconduct and got kicked out of the game. I'm like, dude, you're their best player. At
that point,
be on the ice, to help your team. But, hey, it's what it is. But that happened. But anyway, Xavier Legette will learn from it. But I love and respect the toughness that he showed, and he wasn't going to back down. But in a regular season game, let the other team do it. Take the free first down. Take the free first down. This has been the Adam Gold Show. Subscribe to the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcast. Victoria, thank you. Adam will be back tomorrow. Dennis Cox sitting in for Adam Gold. Till next time, we bid you adieu. Goodbye. Good night.
From the heels
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the canes,
She scores!
he covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here.